Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Stellar Series OS Tournament. I'm Dolan. I'll be joined by Chili or Pear for this next one. Chili or Pear? It's been a long time, my friend.
Yes, sir, it has, man. First cast was what, 3 years ago together? We're bringing it back on SSOT finally. Man, this has been a serious run-in of time, but I'm glad to be back. Glad for this good matchup we've got going on today between Chippy and Gort here.
Yep, one of our final matches of the weekend here. We'll have this match and one more after it. I believe that next match will be an hour after. So we'll have an action-packed block here to close out the weekend. But Chippy versus Gort. This is seed number 2 versus seed 15, I believe. So it's going to be an uphill battle for Gort here. But looking at the roster for Chippy, it's a stacked one for sure.
That it is. We've got a lot of, experienced tournament players, a lot of good talent showing up for this tournament this year. So we are definitely looking at some quite competitive rosters in these, early stage matchups where these teams are still kind of fighting their way through. We're going to have the bracket flashed up on your screen right now. Of course, that right-hand side there, chipi chapa on the bottom right there. These are two teams that I think we are expecting a bit of a closer matchup today. You know, we've seen a lot of, potential matchups that have not been as close as maybe teams wanted them to be in these early stages. So we are going to, see if these teams can make something happen, some magic on the close points.
Yep, and that match below them, I believe, was the match that happened not too long ago. It concluded, I believe it was Optimus Prime Rib taking the win on that one, 6-4. So the winner of this will get Optimus Prime Rib in the next round. But looking at the roster here, it's also a much different format than people were expecting. I know for me, one of the really exciting things about this tournament when I read the forum post was just the format of 1v1 to the 2v2, the 3v3, the 4v4, all depending on the map number. It's led to some really exciting gameplay. And we see here what the quarterfinals are already looking like. We already know what one of our matches will be, Suntan versus Grease Monkey Deluxe, that happening next week. But right now, as you said, our focus on deck, chippy, chapa, and wait, we're goated here. Should be a good one.
This is, again, just to go over these rosters a little bit for you all. Chippy Chapa, a experienced and high-level tournament player roster here. Their captain, Ciccone, will be joined by Scroll, Intercambing, Allegrissimo, Akolabed, Arnold, and White Cat, so they don't have an 8th player for this team. They're going to be going up against the team a little bit farther down. Wait, we are goated, captained by Lesperi, joined by Kali, Sigi, Zeitfrost, Shari, Tori, Magnata Gamer 123, Kadama, and Depi Force.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be an uphill battle for one of these teams, but should still be quite the exciting match. But I'm really interested to see how Chippy Chapa is going to come out here because obviously they're one of the teams that everybody's looking at in this tournament to go the distance. So it's really important to get off to a strong start on your first match, to have that good showing, and really just to see how they're kind of feeling on these lower scaled map pools. You know, we see teams that are known as early round teams leads to upsets in many cases. So it's important to get off with your right foot forward here, even if you are one of the better teams in the tournament. And, I don't know why it says Gort. I believe it's a different team.
It is.
We got clickbaited.
It is wait, we're goated. So the team roster that I read off second is the correct roster. It is wait, we're goated instead of Gort. But Chippy Chapa is correct for our upper team there. So it's the 3 seed versus. Oh, not 3 seeds. It is the.
Yeah, it's
I don't know. Seeding, I'm not gonna guess. Yeah, it's a top seeded team versus I think we've got like a slightly lower seeded here. So
yeah, this is either the 3 and 14 or the 2 and 15. I can't remember off the top of my head.
So it has been fixed there on your screen. So Chippy,
we go.
There it is. There they are. Found them. Yeah, strong roster for Chippy Chapa. I mean, definitely, I think the favored team in this matchup here, just based off of the format as well and the strength of the players that they have on Chippy Chapa right now. This is definitely going to be an uphill battle if you're we're goated, but the pool is still early enough that I think we could see a couple of upset points on here. I don't think anything is set in these early rounds, especially in a round of 16.
And like you said, that roster you named off here for Wait We're Goated, it's still a very competent roster. You've got players like Sigi, Shari Tori, Lesperi, Zayt Frost. I mean, they've got talent that could surely maybe take a point in these 1v1 or 2v2 situations. Really just going to have to wait to see how these picks line out, but they're definitely not bereft of talent here. They've got plenty of players that can do something, but that is quite the stalwart opponent. I mean, Ciccone, Scrollo, Akolibed, Whitecat, Faker Cambing, Allegresimo, and Arnold. That's probably one of the best tournament teams you could put together. And here's their results here for Chippy Chapa, the third seed. That's how they looked in the qualifiers.
Not bad at all. Unfortunately, a couple of players maybe getting a little bit less time in the lobby for qualifiers for this team, most notably Intercambing not being present. That's a lot of potential scores missed out on. Some mechanics and even a couple of those gimmick picks I think that they could have used him on. I mean, if you just take a look at the overall scores on a map like Nomad 4 for them, definitely a little bit worse for wear across the board. Definitely good on most of the other slots here. This is a team that's quite strong. And of course, having someone like Scroll in the lobby at all times definitely makes up for, Intercambing not being there. But it would have been helpful. Them still placing third seed, missing a player is quite the impressive feat. And I think it speaks volumes as to how experienced and how confident this team is going to be. Even then, playing with 7 players instead of 8, so it was a 6-player qualifier and they placed top 3.
Yeah, and without intercambing, that's pretty impressive to do that well without intercambing being there at all. So, I mean, we knew this was going to be a stalwart climb here for Wait We're Goated, but we're going to be getting their results here on the screen shortly. But some phenomenal numbers out of Chippy Chapa in the qualifiers. And here we go for Wait We're Goated, the 14th seed. Let's see how they stacked up here.
Like, we've got a couple of good scores across the board here. Players participating in and out. This is a team that's very well balanced. I think that especially in these larger team size tournaments, when you have more players available to you, especially 8, that versatility is a big advantage on these sorts of pools. I'm surprised Deppy didn't play a couple more maps in this pool. I definitely think he's one of their stronger players, really strong on that hidden in the Nomad. Had a couple of rough goes of things. This team definitely, worse for wear on some certain skill sets, but they're definitely strong in the areas that you want them to be, right? The aim, the base mechanics, they had a really good Nomad 1 score. I think that's a slot that you really want to see just for those base skill sets to kind of show up on these players. And then, maybe some of these gimmicks sitting a little bit down towards the bottom. Of course, on a map like Hidden 2, you're really looking for that score from Deppy to carry you through a pick like that. That's going to be, this is one of those teams, and in these round of 16 stages where you're expecting these lower seeded teams to utilize those individual power players to get their points on the board.
Absolutely. So we might be seeing this team go for those, 1v1 picks, 2v2 picks, whatever it takes. When you're a team facing, a big challenger, it's you just go to who has the hot hand on the day sometimes as well. A couple players might just be playing phenomenal today, so they're probably going to just play into whoever has the hot hands here. But having a player like Deppy and having those tactical mod players will definitely allow them some flexibility within the format of Stellar Series. So interesting to see how that's going to play out.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that, and I guess to give a quick insight as well to that format and why that's going to matter so much for those of you that don't know. We kind of like to go over this every other time, but in this tournament compared to other tournaments, a little bit different. On every slot labeled as 1, it's a 1v1. Every slot labeled as 2, it's a 2v2. Slot 3 is a 3v3, and 4 is a 4v4. So, like Dolan mentioned, having those individual star players matters more here, right? Those are going to be your more difficult picks as well. The picks are going to get progressively more difficult as you move from 4 to 1, which does kind of give you those exciting 1-to-1 matches that we all like to see, as well as those, really nail-biting 4v4s. So you get the best of both worlds in this format. And I think for these lower seeded teams, that's going to be the key, especially for a 14 versus 3 seed match.
Yeah, flexibility and adaptability are going to be 2 crucial factors here for Wait We're Goated. And also for Chippy Chapa, we're going to see how their ban comes out. If they're feeling scared of a player, maybe like Deppy Force on Hidden, they might just fire a Hidden 1 ban so they don't have to worry about it, or the Hidden 2 ban. it's a really interesting format, and it should affect the bans accordingly. So it looks like we're just getting the lobby set up here. Once again, seed 3 versus seed 14. And that would mean the winner will get to play the winner of the 6 and 11 seed match.
So we're going to get it over here.
I'm not gonna lie, this was the #1 reason I signed up to cast this tournament, the graphics.
The designs. Yeah, shout outs to the design team, seriously.
I'm not ashamed to say it. Design team's amazing, and that's why I'm here.
Sticking it out. You know what? If there's one thing to pick it for, I'm a designer myself, man, and I'm totally down to pick a tournament based on its designs. And man, yeah, the design team, big shout outs to them for those of you.
That is not Gort, by the way. That's an error. It is Wait, We're Goated.
It is Wait, We Are Goated. So. As awesome as this picture is.
Yeah.
As awesome as the capybara picture is. This is the pick and ban phase right now. So we're going to get started into the actual matchup, the pick and ban phase for these two teams. We will have Wait, We Are Goated as the first picking team here. Any possible early picks for this team should be very interesting to see what comes out from Wait, We Are Goated. I agree. I think they're going to go for maybe more of those 1v1 picks if they're feeling strong on some of their, star players. I think that would be a good route for them to go maybe early on in the match to get some, big points in. And then as it progresses, maybe move more into those higher team versus slots. Unfortunately, or fortunately rather for them, we will have the 1v1 slot as the AR7.
Yep, so interesting to see how that is going to play out. I'm really interested to see Chippy's ban here, Chippy Chapa's ban, because it's really going to tell us what they fear on the other side of Wait, We're Goated. You always see the higher seeded team use this. Typically, it's a no mod 1 in standard tournaments or something like that. But in this format, it's really going to give us a glimpse into the headspace of Team Chippy Chapa as to what they're thinking and what they're afraid of on the other side. Because a team like Wait, We're Goated, they're going to come in and play their game. That's what you do when you're the underranked team. You play your game and hope it works. But I'm really interested to see how this format affects bans this tournament. It should be exciting.
Yeah, the pick and ban strategies definitely change up quite a bit, especially with these high versus low seed matchups in the early stages. You look at, a lot of standard format tournaments, you're really looking more so skill set identification or whether or not a team wants first pick or first ban, second pick, second ban, that sort of thing. There's less theory crafting, I would say, to kind of go off of. So when you're in a format like this, you're really starting to, look more at your overall roster. Which players do we have today? Who's playing well? Who's going to be strong at what skill set? Does our opponent have any weaknesses that we can capitalize on these smaller formats, right? Especially for the higher seeded team, that's going to be a big advantage as well if you're Chippy Chapa, right? If you pick a 4-slot pick rather for your team that the other team may potentially not have a full 4 players for, that's a big advantage for you as the higher seeded team, right? You've got that extra score on the board here. It looks like they're going to be going for the 2v2 first for Wait, We Are Goated.
DT 2v2 here.
All right.
That's interesting. I kind of like that, challenging the speed skill set really early, because that a team like Wait, We're Goated, they've got a player named Deppy Force ready for that hidden map. So you love to come in with the high speed and then hit them with the low AR hidden maybe. We'll see what the game plans are, but once again, shout outs to the graphic designers. This is a beautiful client.
Absolutely stellar coming into here. 2v2 client, one of my favorite layouts, honestly. This one's just professional, honestly. What are we thinking for rosters here on the side of our Chippy Chapa here, especially being a team that's so versatile in terms of speed? You've got to wonder the direction that this map is going to take, especially for that team, where they've got 7 players and all of them can pretty much play.
And it looks like it's going to be Ciccone and intercamming here. Currently in the lobby. I mean, Ciccone is no surprise to me. Intercamming, we didn't see him play at all in the qualifiers, as we noted, so not surprising to see intercamming in here. But The lineup for Wait We're Goated, that's what I am curious to see. It's going to be Zeitfrost in the lobby right now and Sigi. So I think this is a very good start here for Wait We're Goated. Like Zeitfrost and Sigi in here, but Ciccone intercambing is going to be a big challenge.
That's a scary roster right there. Not entirely sure what I would even do against that duo in a 2v2 setting. That is quite the opponent to have to sit in a lobby and stack up against, especially on pick number 1. You know, this is not a crazy late round, so this is first to 6 on here, best of 11 for these two teams, which means that, you know, while there is some room for error on here, you're really looking for that extra little bit of leeway at the beginning, right? You want to get this pick going at the start of this match. Hopefully we're going to be able to get Zeitfrost in here. There he goes. So now we're going to get into the start of this pick right now. Ciccone intercamping versus Zeitfrost and Sigi. We've actually seen intercamping already
already finding that early miss. It's actually Wait We're Goated in front at the moment.
Early miss from Zeitfrost as well. Looks like intercamping going to be recovering nicely from that early break here. A bit of an advantage towards chipi chapa at the start of this pick. Not the start that Wait We're Goated wants at the beginning here, but there is plenty of time for comeback. This pick's not super long, but it does give you that leeway for room for breaks that you need. You know, almost 2 minutes on this one. They're going to have to hope that either Ciccone or intercamping finds one more break here, as Sigi's down on the FC as well, so no FCs for Wait We're Goated.
Yeah, the only FC remaining is Ciccone and chipi chapa pulling away. There is a miss from Ciccone, no FC, so now a chance for Wait We're Goated. Gonna need to hold for quite some time though. They do have that combo advantage now.
That's big. That break from Ciccone was the only FC remaining on their team, and now this team score going to be able to go back slowly. Unfortunately, they may run out of time before that comes in. We've got a quarter of the map left, but Ciccone does find one more break. It's down to intercamping to hold this one for chipi chapa as the scores start to stack up on Wait We're Goated. This team may pay off.
It's coming to the end. Oh, there's a miss from intercamping. Wait. Sigi's there. Sigi's there. Sigi is there. And he's gone. Not in time. Ciccone holds, drops. It's Zeitfrost and intercamping.
I think they can do it in the end. Sigi might have held combo for just long enough, and it looks like it may have hit.
Oh my goodness, Sigi absolutely clutching out the last half of that map. The misses came out at the end when they needed. What a point. Wait We're Goated off to a strong start. And we were talking about that Chilier pair. We were talking about that Sigi Zeitfrost combo. Looked pretty good, and it was good enough, just barely.
And that is a scary duo right there. We talked about how scary it was going up against Ciccone and intercamping right on a pick like that, but Sigi and Zeitfrost, two extremely experienced tournament players as well. Sigi, someone I've had the pleasure of playing, with, and the terrifying experience of playing against as well. Really locking in on that first pick. Winning a 2v2 against chipi chapa is a serious feat at the start of a match like this, and to get off to that good start for the lower seeded team is an absolutely stellar play to have in your back pocket, and to get that 2v2 locked in as well. These smaller format picks, again, this is why this tournament format is so good for these lower seeded teams and gives a chance for these star players to really get things rolling. And I love that start from Wait We're Goated here, as chipi chapa now has to come into this with a response this early.
Yeah, and, if you're chipi chapa after, a score like that, you might be going for maybe a 3v3 or a 4v4, and here it is. It's going to be no mod 3. So 3v3 on the no mod, 3 minutes, 14 seconds, AR 9.8 CS4. Here we go. That's going to be their response. And to me, I think that's just the most logical thing to do if you're the higher seeded team. You want more players in the lobby, right? You want to play the team count. Do you have the third or fourth player for this map? The only thing that concerns me is it's no mod. All map.
All map. Everything will freeze. Definitely going to be an interesting pick between these two teams, especially given the fact that we just saw Sigi and Zeitfrost perform on that DT2. So you're dragging them back now into a 240 BPM, stream-oriented speed map with Everything Will Freeze here. this is a good avenue for, Wait We Are Goated to maybe sneak out a couple of extra points here if they can find a good third player for this map. But once again, it was Ciccone and Intercambing versus Zyfrost and Sigi we saw before, and even then the score gap was minimal between those two. You add Arnold into the mix here, and you're forcing Wait We Are Goated to find a third player that's as strong as Arnold on a pick like this. That's a big ask for a team like them. So I'm excited to see how this goes. I think Chippy Choppa knows what they're doing on an early pick like this, and I don't think that they're going to shy away from, everything will freeze, especially given the skill sets of the players they're putting in here.
And it is going to be Kadama lining out that third slot for Wait We're Goated. It looks like a calculated pick from Chippy Choppa. It's a scary roster for sure.
I'm interested. I'm very interested. Kadama's a good speed player too. I definitely know Kadama for having a good mix of, hidden aim DT and a little bit of streams mixed into the bout here. So, we'll see how the 240 works with Kadama. I think you see a lot of these DT aim players, really perform well on some of these faster picks. But we'll see with the streams and the bursts and everything will freeze provide for these players here as we get a couple of early breaks. Nothing too crazy. It's a way longer map than that D2 we saw earlier, sitting in at 3 minutes and 14 seconds, so a minute longer.
Yeah, Kadama just with an early miss, but that is the lone difference maker. Like you said, plenty of time here. It's only a slight advantage for Chippy Choppa at the moment. No other misses to report. Accuracy's looking pretty good across the board. A little dip there from Intercambing and Sigi, but otherwise it's looking pretty good. Kadama still on the recovery. No other misses, Chillier.
So far, again, early on in this map, we're going to wait to see until we get into the longer streams in the onset here. When we get into that first PI, quarter of the way in, plenty of time for any of these players to build up a substantial combo. And it means that at this point, any break does matter.
Kadama did go down a while ago, so that is swinging things further towards Chippy Choppa here, but oh, there goes a miss from Ciccone, so it is traded. Now a chance for Wait We're Goated. They need some help from Intercamping or Arnold, but they look locked in right now with those accuracies. I am concerned about Intercamping here, Cheerleader. That accuracy's not boding well.
Not, honestly, 97%, a little bit rough on the board, but Intercamping, all he's got to do is hold that combo down right now. They've got the one drop from Ciccone matching up to Kadama's 2 breaks now. He's down about 60 to 70,000 score on the next closest player, which does give them just that bit of leeway that they need here. It's a less than 100,000 score gap. Any miss on either of these two teams will throw this score over right now as we pass the halfway point. Any breaks right here will cap this player.
Oh, Zyfrost.
There
goes Zyfrost. Yeah, that is absolutely huge. And now Wait We're Goated is pretty much going to need a double miss from Intercamming and Arnold here if they want to come back in. Sigi doing everything they can, but a double miss is going to be required. Ciccone is building up quite a nice supporting combo as well, above 600.
Kadama trying to find that supporting combo as well. Does find the break as I say that, though. That's tragic. And Sigi all by himself now, the best player on his team by far, showing his stuff out. Unfortunately, Intercamping and Arnold locked in 99.33% for Arnold here. 98 almost for Intercamping, and Ciccone is just a good bonus on the top of it. And it's looking like a really good...
There goes Sigi.
That's the one right there.
Yep, it's going to be a nice team performance here from Chippy Choppa to even the score up. All eyes on Arnold and Intercamping. Can they close it out? Looking for the double FC here.
A strong speed stamina player for streams here. This is a good pick for you, and we can see exactly why Arnold is locked in on this pick as we come into the final few seconds here, and a large score gap into the end now for Chippy Choppa. The number 3 seeded team showing their stuff on the mechanics on these larger sized maps for rosters here, and they have that depth necessary to push them to the top here. Going to finish out with almost a 700,000 score gap between these two teams. There is nothing that can happen.
That'll do it.
Big point.
Combos full for Arnold and Intercamping. Intercamping, it was a little rough, but alas, he made it work 1-1. And now Wait We're Goated's going to have to go back to the drawing board. You can only wonder what they're going to go with. It's probably going to be a 1 or a 2, I'd imagine. That just seems to be their alley here. Well, maybe getting Deppy Force involved in Hidden. We'll have to see.
That might be a, while I think that is a very good avenue, and I actually kind of talked about that at the beginning, right? Deppy being really good at those lower approach rating picks is something that they can use to their advantage, especially being in a smaller slot format. However, you also look to the side of Chipi Chapa, and you notice that their reading roster is certainly nothing to shy away from as well. You could put Deppy in for something like that, but he's going to have to go up against an Intercambing and Arnold, someone who's very strong at that reading skill set. I imagine Arnold would be the one to take that pick over.
And there is another ban.
Yeah.
Now, this is interesting. We see Chipi Chapa banning DT4.
I respect this. I think that on a DT4, while it does require more players, and it is, one of those skill sets that may, or at least slots that may be good for them, that's an old style DT alt map, right? This is a Kirby mix map. So this is not your standard DT4 alt map. This is old style gimmicky type thing. And while they do have good DT players on Chipi Chapa, I think that there are better players on the side of Wait We Were Goated here. You've got Sigi, you've got Lesperi, you've got all these old style players that are going to be good at this sort of thing. And on the side of Chipi Chapa, you've got Arnold, Skrull, maybe, definitely the two that are set on there. So maybe not quite as strong of a roster, and I can see why they maybe want to avoid that.
And now we're waiting for the ban for Wait We're Goated here. We'll see what they snipe out of the pool. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a 3 or a 4, but they do have some capable no-mod players over there on the side of Chipi Chapa. It's hard to bet what they're going to ban here.
What's the most mechanics-oriented?
Ooh, HR3.
HR3? I was going to say, that was literally, my eyes locked to that when I saw, Nomad 1 with Hard Rock. That map's difficult for mechanics, and if you just lost a 3v3 on Everything Will Freeze on mechanics battle, yeah, dropping that HR3 is a smart move here.
All right, now Wait We're Goated. They have the pick. So some bans out of the way. You see, we won't be getting another ban phase for quite some time. And it's going to be HD1. Yep, they're going to get Deppy in there.
Oh, our predictions are spot on today. We're just nailing it today. What's going on here? We're back. We're so back.
We've been around the block. We've seen some Osu in our times, all right?
Locked in.
I know what you're doing here. You go with the fast DT. Now we're going to the slow hidden. All right, it's a classic. It's a classic trick in the playbook.
Throw them off. Make them show their stuff on all these skill sets, especially switching in between the two. Going from 240 BPM mechanics in. This is a 1v1 I am terrified to watch right now. I think we've talked a lot about Deppy Force on the side of Wait We're Goated, but Arnold for Chipi Chapa, that is a player that you don't want to have to go up against on reading. And if Deppy is strutting his stuff today, I can see why they're very confident on this, but Arnold is a strong opponent in this matchup. He's already in the lobby. He's ready to go.
Look at this, man. He's locked. Second in Drench program. Only the Vaxay, and you know why, man. Arnold is him. But waiting to see who's going to step up on the side of Wait We're Goated. I mean, I feel like it's going to be Deppy. It could be somebody else. I could be wrong. They do have other hidden players beside Deppy on their team.
I think Deppy is easily their strongest hidden player on this roster. While I do think they have other players that can maybe stack up, Deppy's this is just simply what he does. This is his absolute star level skill set. I mean, Deppy demolishes 2 and 1 digits on this skill set on like it's nothing on a daily basis in tournaments. So I would feel very confident throwing Deppy in. This is kind of like yesterday. You'd see, with the matchups we had there where, teams are throwing in like Yolks Pie in for a hidden 1. Like, that's just terrifying, right? It doesn't matter what rank range they're in. Like, you don't want to play against that.
That's not the name you want to see against that map slot.
Oh, AR7? Oh, the Yolks Pie's in. I'm going to go to bed or something. Like, let me just call me when the pick's over. Yeah.
All right. AR7, Deppy Force, and Arnold in the lobby. It is inevitable. We saw it coming. We knew it. But the big question is, who's going to take that point? I still have no idea. This should be quite the map.
So scared to see what happens on this pick. This is a pick that, again, We're Goated really wants to get this on the board. If you can keep these points flowing at the beginning of this match, it gives you a really good shot to potentially pick something up at the ending where, these slots are still available and, it's... The nerves are running high right now. Deppy has got to lock in on this pick versus Arnold, who you know, is known for just rocking these, but we've been started for a little bit.
Yeah.
It looks like Arnold's already found a miss.
Yeah, and it looks like Deppy is doing that thing right now. It's about a 50,000 point lead. We had a little bit of client issue, but we're in. Still on the FC is Deppy. Arnold has found a few misses. So far, so good for Wait We're Goated. This is what they wanted to see.
One of the hardest sections of the map right there, and Deppy and Arnold both make it through it. These are just... AR7 is a whole different beast. I know people that can kind of make their way through. AR8 as Deppy does finally find a break. That's going to give Arnold a little bit of some leeway here with only a 100,000 score gap between the two of them right now. We've got about a third of the map to go here. If Arnold is able to hold this FC into the ending, he will be able to claw this score back.
Yeah, but Arnold has to hold. That's the thing. Arnold saw the miss from Deppy, but still Arnold knows he's down 100K here, has to hold. Deppy had a much better launch there, about 500 combos till they found a miss. But credit to Arnold, the combo is rising, the gap is narrowing, and time is running out here, Chili Repair.
It's the act, the big act.
Oh, wait! Took miss from Deppy!
That's the
Arnold!
Oh no! The tragic scenario for Deppy, he's just simply not able to find the combo.
Oh, miss from Arnold, but there's no combo for Deppy! There is no combo! And Arnold is gonna get it on the comeback! Wow!
Tragic for Deppy there. He had such a strong start, but that break, I think it just did far too much damage. You saw that accuracy drop. He went from 99 to 96 off of that break section, while Arnold kept that 98, and that is just simply too far of a gap on score V2.
And low AR hidden is just a completely another beast when you tilt on low AR hidden, because you want to rebuild the combo so fast and recover, but you can only do it as fast as the map will allow you, and it's so slow, and it just tilts you. Even if you're some of the best low AR hidden players in the world, it can get you. Credit to Arnold, though, for finding some consistency midway through that map to find 500 combo of his own to take that point over Deppy Force. That was not a gimme for Arnold.
Certainly wasn't. I mean, a 50,000 score difference at the ending of a map that short, you know, it's nothing crazy, but that is definitely a closer score gap, I think, that Arnold would have wanted there. And they're going to go straight back in for the 1v1 here on the aim now for Chippy Chapa, coming into a pick that has given a lot of strong mechanics players some issue here because of these awkward style jumps in this map.
I believe Zyfrost gonna be coming in here now, taking on White Cat.
Big 1v1 here for these two players. I'm not sure what's going on with the 1v1 slot here. We've got the German 1v1 now. White Cat.
The Deutsche battle here.
Ooh, Zyfrost is a very experienced German tournament player as well. Has been around for longer than White Cat has in terms of experience, and this is a strong aim player to come out here for Wait We Are Goated. They've got a lot of strong players for this sort of skill set here, but you know, going up against White Cat, right, this guy was and is probably still one of the best aim players in the world, despite not playing quite as consistently as he did a couple of years ago now. He's got this probably locked in, at least for the majority of this pick here. You can see that double S still holding out at the beginning here.
Yeah, but White Cat definitely knows what Zyfrost is all about. These German players know each other very well, and Zyfrost only 3 100s is right there, giving chase right on White Cat's tail. It's a close one. Any miss is going to be crucial here on a pick like this.
We've seen act battles on no mod 1s before. I was not expecting to see it on this no mod 1. We've seen so many players have trouble with this pick here, and only 3 100s to a double S for these two players at this stage in the map is quite scary. We're only a quarter of the way through, though, so there's plenty of consistency to be found here for these two players. That's really the name of the game on these no mod 1s. How long? It's not going to be Slate Frost. White Cat almost no-locked there, too. I saw the shake on that note. Almost dropped that double S. But he maintains.
able to hold it, and now it's all about Whitecat here. Every note he combos, damage being done to Zeitfrost. Zeitfrost will go back to rebuilding, and if Zeitfrost can have a massive combo when Whitecat finds a miss, there could be an opportunity, but it's hard to bet against Whitecat. We're nearly halfway through, and he's still rocking the double S. Looks so comfortable, and has even avoided a note lock.
Yeah, I mean, this is the guy who has FC'd, OWC and Corsace Grand Finals, no mod 1s and harder. So, you stick him in on a round of 16, no mod 1, yeah, he's going to have a pretty good time on this map here halfway through, maintaining the accuracy, maintaining that precision on the aim, even through these awkward jumps. And there is a reason that Whitecat is still feared on aim picks across the board here. Zeitfrost going up against an absolute beast on this pick right now. And a confident performance now from the higher seeded team. Chipi Chapa knows what they're doing with this roster as Whitecat has locked in what seems to be a secured victory at this venture in the map. 1,000+ combo to 100 in combo here, and a 200,000 score gap past halfway. This is going to be a near impossible comeback for Zeitfrost, even if Whitecat completely fails the ending.
Yeah, it would take quite the meltdown from Whitecat to turn this point back over. Nearly doubling Zeitfrost's score here.
Quarter of the way left to go in the map. He still holds through the linear triples, these big triangle jumps here into the ending. We are now past a quarter of the way left in the map as we come to another pause before these streams. Unwavering for Whitecat, the German tournament player who came back and has carried that country through multiple high-level tournaments, and every team he has been on aim is just simply his skill set. There is far from a large number of players who can compete with Whitecat on this sort of skill set, and unfortunately Zeitfrost not going to be able to do much for their team here. Yeah, I mean, I'd XD on this one too.
That's a fair response.
What do you do?
I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge that somebody in the chat just cast a cursed Whitecat by calling a 99.86% FC. It's your fault if this does not happen. Oh my gosh, he might be right. There's a drop. Oh no.
Let's see.
No.
Let's see.
Just one more. Just one more. I might be eating my words.
Oh. Hitting the jumps at the ending. The streams are easier to find the hundreds on than the jumps. Does he hold the act?
Oh. It's still a brilliant score no matter what happens here, but Whitecat doing Whitecat things. No, it's going to be a 99.95, a 1/100 FC.
Wow. That is, look at that score gap, a 236% score gap. He doubled and then some on top of Zeitfrost's score. That is just simply a performance that you cannot expect to win against. And, Whitecat showing off why he is still one of the best aim players in the tournament scene, despite not showing up as often as I think people want him to on these teams.
Wow.
He's got it.
And Dio informing us that score would be number 2 on the map leaderboards if that was a Score V1 run.
That's crazy. Is that just because the number 1 is modded? Is there just like a hidden pick at the number 1 or something? Is it Malushevsky with hidden or Zudinator or something, and it's just like impossible to no mod against that? Yeah, it's with hidden. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
There it is. Yep. No mod performance.
3-1. Wait, we're goated. They started strong with a point on the board, but now have lost 3 in a row. They need to get something going here. Need to get back to the winning ways. We'll see what map they choose.
I'm interested to see if they go for another small format here. They're starting to run out of those slots in this matchup here. They do have a couple picks like Free Mod 2 left over, which might be a good 2v2 for them.
Free Mod 1.
Go for another 1v1. Interesting. Small CS too. CS6 before Hard Rock.
And now, you see, I have no idea what they're going to be going for here. Are they, you think, maybe throwing in Deppy with the hidden?
Deppy with hidden, or maybe like Lesperry,
potentially?
Or Lesperry. Sigi is a good option on this one, too. They've actually got a lot of good 1v1 players on the side of Wait, We're Goated here as individuals, so I feel like it's always hard to tell, I think, with these two teams, given how strong they are, what they're going to end up rolling with on these picks here. I'm not entirely sure actually what Chipi Chapa goes for on this too. Do you go for the precision player on someone like Scrowell maybe? Or do you go back in for the Arnold on the are we just getting another Arnold Deppy one?
Oh yeah, Arnold and Deppy part 2. Run it back.
AR9 this time, though, significantly more comfortable, but a little bit more awkward in map styling than we saw on the hidden. Same length, too, roughly. I mean, 2 minutes and 3 seconds to 2 minutes and 25 seconds here. So a little bit shorter. We saw 1v1s come out on this map in the past few days with hidden players going in on the 1v1. This is a rough hidden map, though, because of the patterning. Less so because of the AR. Again, this is really more just about map styling than anything. So if they're confident that Deppy is going to be able to rock this one out, it was pretty close versus Arnold. You know, take that gamble one more time. See if you can finally sneak another point out here. I'm not surprised to not see Hard Rock on this map. This map is demonic with Hard Rock. I've played it myself. Don't do it if you don't have like one of the best Hard Rock players in the tournament on your team. It's terrifying.
Please consult your doctor before playing Hard Rock with this map.
Seriously, you might. Yeah, you need something special to play Hard Rock on this. But here we go.
Here we go. Yep, it's going to be double hidden, just like Undio kind of alluded to there. And a stronger start here for Arnold, but it's just two 100s from Deppy at the start. It's going to be kind of wonky.
Player's so good at this skill set here. A couple awkward patterns again with some of these these overlaps, and then there's some cut streams later on in the map here that you're going to have to look out for. We've seen, again, a lot of good hidden players have some trouble at this map here at some scores that are maybe less than desirable, but both of these two holding up well. Accuracy a little bit worse for Ware, but that's fine. It's staying about even between the two 7 and 8 100s respectively for Deppy and Arnold here. The first combo break is really what's going to make the difference here as we start to get into the meat and cheese of this map here.
Yep, and oh, here we go. The breakdowns into these wonky streams. It's still no misses. Both these players were able to rip off about 500 combo on that hidden map. And we're about at that halfway mark, approaching 500 combo. Still double FC. It's all in the accuracy. A slight edge for Deppy Force at the moment.
May just end up holding up here if they hold for a little bit longer. We're past the halfway point now. Any break right now still matters so much. This finger control coming out, and it's going to be Arnold to find the break. Deppy holds. That's huge for... Oh my goodness. What a combo through that section. That is some of the most difficult finger control with hidden I've seen in a very long time, even on AR9. And Deppy makes it look easy.
Deppy, the force to be reckoned with here. Hits the space streams too, is not fooled. Oh, hit 100s that stream, every note of it. But Deppy Force is in full combo gaming mode, and that's all he needed to do. Look at that score bar. 750k plus for Deppy Force. It will be a point for Wait, We're Goated.
What a big performance from Deppy. I have actually just been informed that Deppy Force actually has #1 on this map with Hidden, so he is really showing off that consistency on this pick here. I mean, right into the ending, we're going to get a little bit of Bancho lag, but he is still going to have the score lead into the ending.
Little Bancho lag. Ignore that winner icon. We're going to get that score corrected. Deppy Force, look at that. 895k.
Wow.
And yep, there we go. Graphics updated. High-level graphics here. We get them updated quick.
That is by far the best score of the weekend we have seen on that map. And Deppy, again, just making that finger control look so easy with those overlaps. That is exceptionally difficult.
Yeah, somebody tag Wowie. That's all I gotta say. Somebody tag Wowie.
Tag Wowie, tag Yolks Pie, bro.
Tag Yolks Pie.
Get
tag
all
GN.
Yeah. Oh,
all right.
Man.
So the 1v1 working out for him. I was kind of worried for Wait, We're Goated, because if they weren't able to take that, they'd be looking down the barrel of a 4-1 match, and that would not be a good situation. So they're in the much better situation here. 3-2 match. The pick now for Chippy Chapa. They're looking to regain that 2-point lead.
I'm still thinking back to that performance still. I'm going to be thinking about that for so long here, even into next pick for Chippy Chapa here. They're scared of
it. That is the 4th modded FC ever on that 4-year-old map.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
That's insane. Dolan, you could do that. You're a hidden player.
Yeah. You know, catch, converts. It's the same standard map. You know, you just... You throw your mouse on the platter, and it all works out, all right? Sponsored by Wacom.
It's the same editor, right? You know?
Yep. I gotta say, it is awesome to be casting a tournament sponsored by Wacom. I still have my CTL 480 here. We've come full circle.
Hey, yo, Wacom sponsor? Anyone? Let's go, Wacom.
Let's
what
go.
Up? Thank you for sponsoring. We love you.
I gotta show the proof. Yeah, let's go. The oldie but goodie.
Shout outs to our sponsors, by the way. Wacom Drunk Tier. Thank you so much.
And Drunk Tier, yes.
Thank you so much. Very, very cool products. Please go check them out. We have discount codes for, I don't know if we have discount codes for both of them or either of them, but please go check them out. Very appreciative of the sponsors here. It is in the chat right now if you all want to take a look out. Wacom eStore SSOT40 for 40% off in 2.0 series tablets. So thank you.
40% off tablets.
I use it in 2.0. I've used it in 2.0s for 8 years now of playing Osu. I had an original in 2.0s Pro 4. So Wacom, they're the goats. Go check them out. We're going to get into the next pick now. It's Chikoni versus Sigi, a 1v1 on Hard Rock 1. We're going to be jumping back in. This is the first Hard Rock pick we've seen thus far in this match.
Yep, and quite the dynamic 1v1 here. Players I would expect to see, Chikoni and Sigi on the Hard Rock. It sounds valid here. And so far, it's actually a really smooth start here for Sigi. Only 1-100, 2 100s for both players, but now the accuracy's starting to get level. It's anybody's game, and it's a fairly lengthy Hard Rock pick here, Pear.
This is not something that you're going to have to get complacent on here. Just over 3 minutes on this one. And the spacing on these streams is so difficult. This is a textile map, right? This is a no mod 4 for 5-digit USC, I believe, or World Cup, one of the two, and I think it was part of 3-digit World Cup as well. So this is a difficult map that's been used time and time again. We've seen breaks from both of these players. Now Chikoni going to trade out the miss from Sigi just in time as Sigi holds combo through that section now and is going to be able to claw back a little bit of score through these space cuts.
Yeah, Sigi's going to be looking to combo game it here very much so. So far, so good.
94 for Sigi. Oh, that's going to...
Listen, in the combo game we trust. Okay, there it goes. Never mind. And the combo is gone. And Chikoni now with 300 combo is going to start to do some damage here and open that gap up about 60, 70K.
Man, that was an unfortunate under-aim for Sigi on that slider. He had so much combo through that section. Unfortunately, with his act drop and not being up on the combo now, it's going to make it borderline impossible for him to make a comeback on this pick at this stage in the map. Past halfway through, Chikoni, 500 combo. Sigi now finding another break at 93% accuracy.
Oh, there goes Chikoni.
Is going to be an uphill battle for the rest of the time unless Chikoni finds a serious act drop. It was Bancho, oh no.
It was Bancho, yeah, I was about to say, okay, never mind. It was Bancho on the slider here, and that is a real miss, but still, Sigi is really far behind here. 150,000 points behind. Is going to need practically a miracle and a continuous meltdown from Chikoni to overturn the score gap.
What an impressive performance from Chikoni right now. This is such a solid, still hitting us with the Pecco in the smoke. It never dies. The username lives on. Gotta find another break into the ending for both of these two players here, but past a quarter of the way remaining in the pick here. Chikoni at almost 400k, Sigi barely putting up that 250k. It is just simply too late for anything to happen now at their venture in the map.
Yeah, and the combos are even, so Sigi is not gaining any ground, and there is not enough time. It's gonna be a 4-2 scoreline for Chipi Chapa. And job well done for Chikoni. He'll find a miss, but the job is done. The point is secure, over 100,000 points. And we'll be going to round 7.
That is a big performance from Chikoni on this map. Quite a difficult pick, and to put out almost 97% accuracy is quite impressive. Sigi, still pretty decent, honestly, above 300k into the ending, having a lot of trouble with that act, but this map on Hard Rock, especially with that OD, is very, very difficult. Chikoni almost 500k on that one. A slight score gap for the winning and higher seeded team there. Good point on the board again. The number 3 seed showing their stuff in these 1v1s. And I guess to quickly run over it again for those of you, because I've seen some people asking in chat again, this tournament's format is a 1v1 on number 1 picks, number 2 picks, 2v2, 3 and 4v4. So for those of you wondering why all of these maps have different formats, that is exactly why. So your Nomad 1, 2, 3, 4 are 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, and 4v4 respectively. So
whatever number follows the map pick, that's how many players on each team will be playing the map.
Yep, so keep a lookout for that.
It is an interesting, unique gimmick, and it's definitely led to some entertaining matches this weekend. It's a very interesting format, and I think everyone really likes it. Looks like we're coming into another ban phase here.
We are. This is going to be, I believe, the final ban phase of this match here, as far as I'm concerned. Chipi Chapa, they went for a 4v4 ban on a more gimmick-favored map last time. Interested to see what they go for here. Maybe another 4v4. Yeah, it's another 4v4.
So they're going to get rid of the hidden four. Not as confident on perhaps, a large hidden team score. And we'll see what Wait We're Goated are going to ban out. Man, kind of hard to tell really what they're going to go for. The map pool's kind of narrowing down here. And I would guess if you're Wait We're Goated, you go for something like a 3 or a 4 pick here. Unless you just know you have the roster for that map.
Yeah, this is an interesting strategy for Wait We're Goated here into these endings. These 1v1s have really, not been going super well for them outside of that one pick that Deppy was able to pick up. And I believe we're actually out of 1v1s at this point. We've seen everything but DT1, so almost everything that's viable for them to pick. So maybe they just do ban a DT, and they do go for
DT3.
a DT ban. It's not DT1, but it's DT3.
So now they're going to be up to pick. And it's a very important pick here. It's going to be DT1, so they're banning the DT3 and going for the DT1. Interesting. It looks like that they have gone, put all their eggs into the basket of 1v1s and 2v2s. They're going for the small team size picks here to try to get some points on the board.
Well, I'm all right with this strategy in the end here. If you are Wait We're Goated, this is kind of the last possible scenario that you're going to hit where you're going to have the chance to get a couple of your picks on the board, maybe get back into this match a bit, losing some of these 1v1s. You're up against a higher seeded team. They are 1 pick away from match point. They've done well to get 2 picks on the board for themselves. But here's that DT1 that we kind of mentioned before that I thought that there was a chance that Wait We're Goated was potentially going to ban out, given against the strength of Chipi Chapa on these DT picks. This is a personal favorite of mine. I freaking love Crush. This map
It's a great song.
I love the song. I love the map. Everything about it's super fun. The aim is just where it needs to be. The triples throw in just a little bit of stamina for these two players to, have to kind of keep a handle on their finger control. Iconic map set here. So I'm expecting some good stuff out of both of these players. It's Zeitfrost versus Ciccone. Strong aim players. Ciccone definitely a little bit more well-known for this sort of thing in tournaments. So I'm interested to see how Zeitfrost does.
Yeah, Zeitfrost had, I think, played a 1v1 earlier and came out on the losing end of it. But aside from that, this will be his second map of the match. Looking to put a point on the board for his team here against Ciccone, who is locked in on the double S right now.
Good start.
Ooh, miss from Zeitfrost here at the beginning.
Early on in the map still. Unfortunately, it's not the early miss that you wanted to see, especially if you're on the side of Wait We're Goated here. This pick is not particularly long, and it's also not very forgiving with these early breaks because the map is relatively similar in the second half as it is to the first half. So if you're finding breaks at the start here and your opponent doesn't, unless there's an unfortunate miss somewhere in the ending here, I definitely think Ciccone's got this one locked in here. Almost doubles Zeitfrost score already.
And of course, we are at that halfway mark, so Zeitfrost is going to need that miss, and if that miss is going to come out from Ciccone, he needs it soon here. Preferably before we get to the final quarter, because he's going to need some time to overturn that score gap, but Ciccone is locked in, only 100 at the moment, approaching 700 combo. Zeitfrost with a brilliant recovering combo, but Ciccone will not give him a chance. Another Pecco for him.
2 of them locked in now. It's still the full combo for Ciccone. 100 on the board. It's 12 100s. 1 miss only for Zeitfrost here. This could have been such a close map. Unfortunately for Zeitfrost, Ciccone going to win this one on accuracy regardless of if the miss came out or not, considering he is still on that full combo. Just so confident. I mean, Ciccone is so used to speed. This map is not particularly difficult for him in terms of BPM or mechanical intensity here, so I can see why he's very comfortable on this. He does find a slider break at the end.
Oh, there is a break.
He missed the last note. Oh, no.
Tragic. It is going to be a point for Chipi Chapa, but what could have been Sag. 5-2, and that's going to put him at match point, and that was a break point, so they have the pick pair.
That they do. And that's a big pick to have under your belt here going into the end, especially being the higher seeded team. All the 1v however, are gone, so you can't just rock out a 1v1 onto the last pick, which does give Wait, We Are Goated a little bit of leeway here, but again, you've got a lot of these mechanics-favored maps left in the pool that they could start going for here, and that's going to be the dangerous area if you are Wait, We Are Goated here, going up against a strong mechanics high-seeded team into the end.
And that was a pretty good performance out of Zeitfrost. Just unfortunate that Ciccone rocked it out till near the very end. Ciccone finds a miss at the halfway mark. Zeitfrost has a chance of taking that point, but that is how the cookie crumbles. And Chippy Chapa now at match point number 1, a chance to put it away. They're going to go for Hard Rock 2.
Hard Rock 2, this is going to be what could potentially be the final pick of this match. It is True Love. I'm not entirely sure if I expected them to go for this over some of the other picks in this pool that are very mechanics favored. They may just be going for this in terms of length, 1 minute and 34 seconds, try and get this thing kind of locked in for them.
Yeah, just go for something really quick. They've had all the momentum, right? So I don't hate that type of pick. A 90-second map, a TV size. We've got the momentum. Maybe it's still with us. Maybe they're still tilted. They find a miss. We end this over quick. We go home. But also the flip side. It's a quick map. You tilt. You find the miss. You've given them a quick point, and then they get the pick. So for Wait, We're Goated, it's now or never. We'll see. Hard Rock 1 pick went the way of Ciccone. Yep, it's going to be Ciccone and intercamming. That's such a scary duo against Zeitfrost and Sigi. Of course, I believe this was the round 1 lineup for a 2v2 that went the way of Wait, We're Goated.
Yeah, this was actually. So we're looking for maybe a potential repeat here. And again, I'm wondering, I'm just saying that, Chippy Chapa may be going for this based on how short the map is to try and close this out early. But that also gives you less leeway for a miss, right? If either Ciccone or Intercambing find a break here and Sigi Zeitfrost hold combo, that's a dangerous scenario to be in, especially against two players who have really been able to show their stuff. Like you said, Sigi and Zeitfrost, the two to take that point on the first 2v2.
Right, and Intercamming has been playing well, but on the last map, even when they had that double FC, Intercamming struggled on the accuracy front, so we'll have to see how it fares on this map. A completely different map, new ball game, but Ciccone is going to be the first miss, traded by Sigi.
Well, unfortunate. Not over. But we need Zeitfrost to hold.
And it's actually a slight advantage for Wait, We're Goated. Sigi's accuracy is better than Ciccone's. That is making the difference right now. Intercamming with the highest accuracy. There goes Zeitfrost, though. Wait a minute, and now that score bar flips halfway through. And now all of a sudden, it's looking bleak for Wait, We're Goated. They need a double miss, and they need it soon.
Halfway through, it's all on Intercamming. The only full combo remaining. Ciccone back up at 300. Sigi finding another break. This may be it, folks.
Oh, Ciccone goes down. It's all on Intercamming. Intercamming goes down. There's the double miss, and it's all on Zeitfrost now with 250. They need combo. Do they have enough time? I don't think they do, pair.
I think that might be it. Zeitfrost with that combo break was the only thing holding up Wait, We're Goated. And I think our upper seeded 3 seed here, Chippy Chapa, might have just locked this one in. It's Ciccone and Intercamming to bring this one home for their team. They're up by 250,000 score, and it's staying there. There is nothing that Zeitfrost and Sigi can do at this point in the map, and that may just be it, folks. We're going to be seeing the 6-2 finish at the ending of this match as our 3 seed takes the win.
Yeah, last to no avail. A solid effort from Zeitfrost and Sigi there, but the damage was already done in the early half of the map. I was worried about Intercamming there, but it was Intercamming who made all the difference there in that 8th round. Really stood on business and got the job done. A solid win for Chippy Chapa. Wait, We're Goated putting up a really good performance, able to take a few points, but pair, they're just too strong.
That they are. The 3 seeds showing their stuff off here in these early round of 16 matches, and I think that's what you kind of, want to see from these higher seeded teams in the early stages, right? They have the skill cap, but do they have the consistency to hold up in these early rounds? And, Chippy Chapa, they're showing off what they have here, and I think that this is going to be a team to look out for into the late stages. Even despite them not being that number 1 seed this year, they certainly have what it takes to push for maybe one of those top 3 spots again.
Yeah, remember they got that third seed without intercambing in the qualifiers, so that's a very impressive feat. And now they're off to the quarterfinals, and they are going to be playing against, I believe, Optimus Prime Rib, that the team with Decaton and his squad. So that should be quite the entertaining match next week. But there is the final score, the recap. Chippy Chapa taking it 6-2 over Wait We're Goated. We're moving on.
Goated, they put up a good fight there. A couple points on the board there. One with a quite the large victory. I think it's absolutely hilarious to actually see that 0% victory on DT2 at the start, just because of how close that score margin was.
Yeah, it was pretty ridiculous.
Oh man, that was a close pick there. And you see a couple of these other ones here too. 14% for that first 1v1 between.
Yeah, the Arnold Deppy Force. That. Just a few maps that you see could have gone the other way and really would have kind of flipped this whole match on its head, but job well done from the third seed. That's what makes him the third seed, getting the job done in a convincing fashion. And there you see the additional bans that were banned out there. They weren't really a fan of the 3s and 4s. DT4, Hard Rock 3, Hard Rock 4, and DT3 were all banned in those ban phases. So these teams really not liking the large team size. They like the 1v1s and 2v2s.
And if you're Chippy Chapa, I completely understand that, right? You saw some of those standout performances from this team, and if you can leverage those going into the rest of the tournament, that's going to be a strong point for them, especially with Arnold being able to take on those gimmick maps, White Cat being able to rock out those no mod 1 aim picks, and we saw Ciccone on some of those DTs as well, just pushing through the FCs here. This is going to be a team that is scary in those 1v1s, and I think there's a lot of these higher seeded teams that are very formatted for that in this tournament to be able to take those 1v1s. I'm interested to see how they do in the later stages with some of the higher team size picks, because eventually they're going to be forced to take some of those battles here. But if they can avoid it in the early stages because they're strong with the smaller formats, then, by all means, run with it for as long as you possibly can. It works.
Yeah, and I'm really interested to see how Wait We're Goated are going to handle the losers bracket. Zyfrost, Sigi, Deppy Force. I mean, they put up one good fight today, so I think they're going to have a good run in the losers bracket. I like their chances, but unfortunately, the winners bracket run comes to an end here, pair.
Is going to be it. Again, 14 seeded, we very rarely see an upset of a caliber that would be, shown through this match here. But, it's always fun to see when it does happen, but nothing too surprising here. Chippy Chapa moving on to the next phase of the tournament to face off against Optimus Prime Rib. That is going to be a slightly higher seeded team. That is also a full American team. That is going to be Taro, Rhythmic RS, Almighty Door, Kama, Tallulah, Decaton, Arison, and Razor Fruit. So that's kind of a mix between US, OWC, 3WC. So pretty solid team to go up against for one of these higher seededs. And I think we're going to be seeing a lot of good stuff out of that matchup as well. But that's going to be next weekend. Not quite there yet. I don't know if we've got all the matches set here next up.
Yep, we've got one more match to go. I'm Korean 2 is waiting for an opponent, but we know all of the winners bracket quarterfinal matchups aside from that one. And we're going to be getting an opponent for them very shortly. It's going to be Jashin no Konrei against Washingtowa. That's going to be our final match of the weekend here, kicking off in about 10-15 minutes.
A little bit from now. So don't go anywhere. I think we are going to get everything started immediately after this match. I don't actually even know if we're going to go offline. I think we may just be switching the casters over and then looping everything through. But once again, congratulations to our third-seeded team. They've done well for themselves into next weekend. I'm interested to see what they're able to put up for us as we go into the future stages. If those of you want to check out any of this information, it's on the main sheet for the tournament. There's also a challenge. Both of them should be in chat, !sheet, !bracket as commands. You can check all that information out.
Indeed. You can join the Discord, stay up to date with all the latest information on the tournament. But I think that's going to do it for now. We're going to get set up for our final match of the week, and we'll see you on the other side. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Stellar Series Osu Tournament. Please ignore me just butchering everything at the start here. I'm Dolan, and I'm joined by Dio this time for the last match of the round of 16. We're going to be getting you through it. Dio, you ready for it?
I'm ready for the last match. It's going to be a good one, too, Dolan. We have Jashin no Konrei versus Washingtowa, seed 8 versus seed 9 out of the qualifiers. So on paper, the closest match of the weekend. And I think a match that has the potential to deliver on that also. Jashin no Konrei with a lot of really, really good mechanics players. A lot of people you tend to think of as these kind of high-level tournament players. You know, the team, in fact, named after their captain, Seiku's Nomad FC on Jashin no Konrei, the like 250 BPM giant space stream map by Imperial Circus Dead Decadence. That's 9.3 stars on standard. That is some crazy star rating. It's an 1100. And they are a middle seeded team because a lot of their players focus on those mechanics. You have players like Kyujin, like Xylus, like Welter, like Aimbot Cone, Spectre, Coda, Gamer. Like all of these players are really, really good on mechanics, but where they tended to fail in the qualifiers was on those more gimmick-focused maps, which made up about half the qualifiers pool, so kind of checks out with the seeding. Meanwhile, Washingtowa, a lot of much lower ranked players. In fact, only three digits on the entire team versus multiple 2 digits and an entire team of 3 digits otherwise for Jashin no Konrei. So 5 of 8 players on the side of Washingtowa are 4 digits in this matchup. But they have some very, very good scores on lots of the gimmicky maps and qualifiers. And checking out the roster, it makes sense. Players like Conrad Mitten, Twilight especially, RNG especially, Furyu, Jacob 3, WarpsCon, Ethan Tricks, RME Fan, all relatively solid gimmick players. And, you know, they do have mechanics rosters, but I think against a team like Jashin no Konrei, they're going to be picking almost exclusively into those reading maps, into the tech maps, into the alt maps in the pool, focusing more on that control and focusing far less on those mechanics, trying to ban those out at every opportunity.
Yeah, it seems like the classic matchup of mechanic versus gimmick, doesn't it? And here we go. We're going to be getting some qualifier results from these teams. Seed 8, Jashin no Konrei. Let's see how they stacked up across the mods. You see we had Xylus, Psyche, and Aimbot Cone were in for most of them, no mods.
I think that's no Kyujin, no Welter, no Spectre, and no Coda.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looks like they're missing half the team.
Yeah, that's literally only 4 players from this team played qualifiers, and they were
got
still top 8.
8. 8.
You know, it seems pretty good if you ask me. Although I think, I see 3 players per map on this. I think this graphic might be incorrect. There are probably some extra players. I'll go ahead and check the qualifier sheet and get back to you on that. But in the meantime, we can switch over to the qualifier results for Washingtowa. And I'll get back to which players exactly played for Jashin no Konrei in just a moment here.
So here we go for Washingtowa, the 9th seed. Look at their qualifiers, and they were kind of pretty well-rounded. You see everybody getting in on the action here. Even RME Fan there came in for Nomad 4 and Hidden 2. But as you said, it's going to be a tale of mechanics versus gimmicks here. And Washingtowa might not be necessarily the best gimmick team out there, but when you know your opponent has a perceived weakness, you're definitely going to attack that weakness with full force and try to abuse it and get some points on the board. But in theory, this should be the spiciest match of the weekend with seed 8 and 9, so hopefully it delivers.
Yeah, and I'm checking the qualifier results. It looks like they had 5 players for Jashin no Konrei during the qualifiers, those 5 players being Gamer, Xylus, Spectre, Aimbot Cone, and I believe Saiku was the 5th player for them. So they did have 5 players during qualifiers, but still missing 3 of your 8 players and still qualifying top 8 is very impressive. So I'm going to expect this team to do a little better than what the qualifier results might lead on. Even still, I think you're probably still going to expect overall for this matchup to be one of kind of a tale of 2 teams, right? Mechanics versus the gimmick on the side.
And yep.
Washingtowa.
So for Washingtowa picking into the gimmicks here, HD1 is what they're going to start this match off with. Makes sense. We saw this in the previous match. It is definitely one of those gimmick maps, and it is brutal and unforgiving. AR7, CS4, 2.5 minutes, 5.89 stars, Dio.
Yeah, 5.89 stars is, if memory serves, I swear I worked on the map pools, guys. If memory serves, the lowest star rating map in the pool, and yes, it is. But, as we saw on Free Mod 1, low star rating doesn't always mean low difficulty. Free Mod 1 is actually the third lowest star rating map in the pool. That was the CS6 AR9 gimmick map that we saw in the previous match, right? This map as well, very gimmicky. It is AR7. Most of the time, if you're playing a tournament, you're playing a lower approach rate map. It's AR8, maybe sometimes AR like 8.5 even. So for it to be AR7 hidden, for this to be 2 minutes and 30 seconds of overlapping patterns and really difficult aim control on that AR7, makes this quite a difficult pick, even in the context of some of the other one slots in this pool. I think very comparable to stuff like the Free Mod one that we saw earlier, comparable to the difficulty from that HR Tech map, the HR one that we saw earlier as well. So I'm expecting the best hidden reading player for each team to come in here. Probably Xylus on the side of Jashin and Konrei. And it looks like Ethan Tricks coming in for the side of
So I have a question here that you need to manually pick the
Xylus and Ethan Tricks. It looks like those are going to be the players here. Well, Dio, here we go. One more match in the round of 16. Our number one seed needs an opponent for the quarterfinals, and we're about to find out. Once again, brought to you by Wacom and Drunk Deer. We love our sponsors, and we thank them. Let's get into it, Dio.
Let's get into it. We were just talking about right before this match started with Chillier from the last match about how we can one up the Wacom plug during the match. I pulled out my own Wacom tablet with signatures on both sides as well. So yeah, shout outs to Wacom. I mean, I know barely any OS players who don't use a Wacom tablet if they use tablets. So yeah, really cool to see them sponsoring this. We do see an early ACK advantage for Xylus on the side of Jashin and Konrei. Ethan Tricks full 100ing an early stream, but it is combo advantage for Ethan Tricks as early slider break for Xylus, or early couple of misses, excuse me. Going to give a bit of a combo lead over to the side of Washingtowa on this one.
Yep, so it's going to be combo versus ACK, a tale of two teams, a tale of two gaming methods here. But it is going to be the combo gaming taking the lead here. Ethan Tricks is going to, big ACK drop, and now Xylus is going to be able to come back here. That's the thing about accuracy, man. It's just so valuable. 300 points compared to 100. A lot of people forget accuracy matters so much as we get into these, really the meat and cheese of this map here, Dio.
Yeah, and there's a slider break actually for Ethan Tricks. That is rough takes for the team trying to combo game, but it is traded. Yeah, Xylus also breaking on the same pattern. It's only a 20k or so score lead right now for Jashin and Konrei. Xylus in this 1v1, still a really good gimmick player. We talked about
mechanics versus gimmick. Got to that. He's one of the best low AR reading players in the tournament scene, full stop, has been ever since he started actively playing tournaments back in 2021. So this 20k score lead between Xylus and Ethan Tricks, not unexpected at all, despite kind of the focus on the mechanics for the roster.
There's a miss from Xylus. Final quarter of the map is coming up, and here is the door that Ethan needed. The door is open. Ethan charging through it now. Needs to hold here. Xylus, no combo, going back to rebuilding. Who needs accuracy when you have combo? Ethan Tricks putting Washingtowa in front.
Can he keep them out in front through the end of the map? There's just a little bit of map left to go, and it is a 50k score lead. Xylus has a little bit of combo, and that accuracy advantage still intact, but much less now. Near 97 ACK for Ethan Tricks, and I think that's going to be enough to put them over the edge and get them the point on their first pick. He does miss, but the map is just about over, and I don't think it's going to be enough. That's still almost 50k for Washingtowa. Nicely done from Ethan Tricks.
Ethan Tricks gets the job done. Washingtowa on the board with their first pick, 1-0. They needed that to work out, and it did. It was a little shaky at the start. Xylus was giving some chase, but it came down to combo beating accuracy. And now we will go to round number 2. It's going to be Jashin no Konrei's turn to pick.
And I think if you're a Jashin no Konrei here, you look at these qualifier results, you see that Washingtowa had basically their full team during the qualifiers. You see the stark difference on the Hard Rock and DT pools. You look across the qualifier results for both of these teams, Jashin no Konrei, even with 5 players, has head-to-head wins on every single Hard Rock and Double Time map in the qualifiers versus Washingtowa. So you're almost certainly just saying, hey, let's pick into these 2 mods. Let's get some points on the board. There's enough of the DT and Hard Rock pool that we can just keep picking into these all match long. And they only have 2 bans, right?
And
you can pick all 6 remaining Hard Rock and Hiddens, and it is going to be one of those DT picks to start us off. It is DT2 Nevermore. This is 2v2, so you do get a little bit of extra roster selection wiggle room for Washingtowa here, but I don't think that extra wiggle room is going to matter enough in the context of the plethora of fantastic speed players on the side of Jashin no Konrei.
Yeah, it definitely should be advantage Jashin no Konrei when we're talking double time or Hard Rock with these 2 teams that you said. You go through those qualifier stats. That's exactly the story it tells. And it's going to be Psyche and Aimbot Cone in the lobby for Jashin no Konrei at the moment. Washingtowa has Jacob in there at the moment. It's going to be Warpscon joining.
Yeah, I'm kind of expecting Jacob 3 and Warpscon are both in already for Washingtowa. Okay. Jacob 3, nicknamed Faker 3 during United States Cup, one of the better mechanics players in the tournament, despite being one of the lower ranked tournament players in the United States. Doesn't really get a chance to shine in places like the OS World Cup or the 3-digit World Cup because there are better tournament players in the US than Jacob 3, but a scary player nonetheless, as every time you see these regional United States tournaments come out, Jacob 3, always one of the players to watch out for in those tournaments. Up against, though, 2 extremely good mechanics and speed players on the side of Jashin no Konrei and Saiku and Aimbot Cone. Again, Saiku, the namesake for the team in this tournament with that FC on a 240 BPM, 1100 PP speed map, no mod, and Aimbot Cone, one of the best speed players in the tournament scene generally, and always a pinch hitter for Germany in the US World Cups as of recent.
Well, here we go. It's a stacked roster. Jashin no Konrei looking to get their first point on the board with their first pick. It's DT2. We are underway. No misses through the first 200 combo.
Very short map, though. Again, these DT picks tend to be a lot shorter than your no-mod hidden and hard rock picks. This one only 1:56 seconds, so blink and you miss it, and every miss is going to be very impactful.
There is a miss from Jacob 3, the first one. And Warpscon as well, so that's 2 misses now for the side of Washingtowa, 2 FCs for Jashin no Konrei. And now they're really going to do some damage. And Washingtowa, it's going to be pretty much all she wrote unless there's a double miss immediately.
And this is why I kind of talked about, the roster wiggle room for Washingtowa can only do so much. These 2-in-1 slot maps are built into this pool to be harder. That was the approach we took as a pooling team in order to give that advantage still to these mechanics teams or these gimmick teams who have, one player who's really strong on it. Xylus will find the miss there or a slider break, but again, I don't think it matters. Aimbot Cone's still holding the full combo.
And gone. Only Warpscon, but there is a large gap and not enough time. I do believe, but yeah, as you said. But Psyche has done damage as well as Aimbot Cone over 600k, and it's Jacob 3 who's just been really struggling, unfortunately. Warpscon doing their best, but Warpscon is going to need another meltdown here from Jashin no Konrei, and it needs to be of exponential proportions immediately, and it doesn't look like they're going to get it.
Yeah, still an over 300,000 score lead for Jashin no Konrei, despite those breaks from both members, and despite this big combo from Warpscon, over 700k now for Warpscon, still not quite the same score as Aimbot Cone on that 750k, and Xylus right behind him with 690k as well. Very good overall team score for Jashin no Konrei, and again, that's the added difficulty of this 2-in-1 slot picks coming through, especially on the DT pool. The map is not just 230 BPM stamina, but also AR 10.3, also some finger control, right? Like, there's a lot of very difficult things going on in that map. And despite having that extra wiggle room, with it being only a 2-slot map, that wiggle room exists for the opposite team too, right? You can pick the 2 best players on a team that's filled with mechanics players to go in for a mechanics map. And so just favoring the team better on the skill set overall, and Jashin no Konrei converting on their first pick as well. We have ourselves a match 1-1.
Yep, Psyche really with Aimbot Cone just coming up clutch there. So now we're going to get to our next, the first ban phase here, and Jashin no Konrei will take out Nomad 2.
I think good ban for Jashin no Konrei as well. It's not one of those low AR reading maps, but the only low AR reading map left in the pool is that Nomad 4. It is a relatively easy reading pick, so I think completely fine.
And Nomad 3 is going to be banned.
that's the speed map in Nomad as well. The Nomad 2 is a CS 6.1 alt finger control pick as well. Again, the slots don't really matter here except for telling you the team size. So gimmick map banned out for Jashin no Konrei, mechanics map and speed in particular banned out for Washingtowa. I think great bans for both of these teams. And now we're going to get yet another gimmick pick for Washingtowa.
Free mod 1, and this is the map that we saw Deppy Force go off on last match. Likely going to be hiddens here. As pointed out, this map with Hard Rock is straight up demonic. There's no other way to put it. It is awful.
Yeah, playtesting this map was kind of weird. We had people of the opinion that hidden was harder. We had people of the opinion that Hard Rock was way harder. We had people of the opinion that it was balanced, so we kind of figured it was around in the middle. We've definitely seen a lot of people prefer hidden on this map, as it is CS 6. So with Hard Rock, that is CS 7.8. I think if we do see a Hard Rock on this map, it would come from Jashin no Konrei. A lot of really good Hard Rock players on their team. But again, you have players like Xylus who can go hidden on a map like this and have that better control on gimmick maps, have better finger control. So maybe we'll see that come through, but it looks like it is Saiku on the side of Jashin no Konrei in right now, and he is a Hard Rock player, so we may just be seeing a Hard Rock versus hidden matchup here as Conrad Mitten coming in for Washingtowa on.
Oh, it is going to be
Xylus.
Xylus.
There's the swap, so yeah, it is going to be hidden versus hidden on this one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when you got a player like Xylus, you know, I was about to say that's just it's too hard to pass up on Xylus hidden on this. As good of a Hard Rock player as Saiku is, it's just hidden. It with Xylus is probably the safer, better bet here. It's gonna be Xylus versus Conrad Mitten, another hidden player, and we're gonna be going.
We're going to be going. In the meantime, while I let you start off the map, I'm going to change my mic. I've just been informed by someone in chat that my mic sounds wrong, and indeed, I think I'm on a webcam mic, so I'm going to go ahead and fix that, get back on my usual mic, and hopefully bump up the audio quality a little bit.
Alrighty, well, I will do a little bit of fill-in here until you get back. All right, underway on this hidden pick free mod 1, Conrad Mitten against Xylus. And it is advantage Conrad Mitten. Xylus finding 12 100s at the start. Only 3 for Conrad Mitten. But typically, the hidden players find a couple hundreds at the start as you find your rhythm and your footing. Nothing to be alarmed at. No misses here, but there is a miss from Conrad Mitten, and now Xylus is going to have a chance to turn this gap here pretty quickly.
Yeah, this map really tricky on the finger control as well. You're looking at a lot of 1/3 and 1/6 in this map, even with the CS6 AR9, still going to be very difficult. And both players hitting this finger control section so far, neither of them dropping on any of the buzz sliders in this section either. But there goes Xylus with a miss aim, and now it's over back to Conrad Mitten, but he drops as well. The score lead actually, Dolan is over on the side of Washington.
It's even. It's a 5K lead. It's 5K lead. And yeah, the ACK is actually paying dividends here for Conrad Mitten. Conrad Mitten had a great launch. Xylus struggled, found about 12 100s at the start. And now Xylus is really struggling. Conrad Mitten trays, but like you said, it is all in that accuracy. 30-40K advantage for Washingtowa, courtesy of Conrad Mitten.
And this is really solid for Washingtowa to be able to trade once again. Another miss come through for Xylus, and Conrad Mitten continuing to hold this combo on almost 98 ACK with hidden. It's still very difficult as a map on hidden, right? You see how much Xylus is struggling on this. He is one of the best hidden players in the tournament scene, and Conrad Mitten is just showing him up on this. The gimmick squad. Conrad Mitten is ranked 5,000. He is still performing on this map. He's lower ranked than the vast majority of players in this tournament right now, even than a lot of the players on teams who didn't qualify. He's lower ranked than quite a few of them, still popping off, still getting a great score on this map. Absolutely solid performance from Conrad on this to get nearly 500K, 97.6 accuracy, and a very, very good overall score for the side of Washingtowa. Don't believe the screen there. The winner is the blue team. It is Conrad Mitten with a 150% score difference on that map.
4 digits in a dream, baby. Conrad Mitten there. Just goes to show you on these hidden maps, these gimmick hidden maps, it's all about the launch. You need a good launch, and you need to have a good first 300 or 400 combo to really lock in. That way, even if you do find one miss, you can put it back in your mind. There's nothing worse than finding misses on a low AR map at the start, because you can never get your feet under you, and you can never get your mindset into the map. We saw what it did for Conrad Mitten, and Xylus, one of the best hidden players in the world. So that's going on Conrad Mitten's fridge, guaranteed.
Yeah, absolutely. 1v1ing Xylus and winning on that map, definitely a tall feat, and the biggest score difference we've seen so far by a percent of the other team's score. So really solid performance from Konrad on that one. And now Jashin no Konrei, of course, going to be picking in one of those mechanics maps again. Wouldn't be surprised to see the DT1, wouldn't be surprised to see one of the other speed maps in the pool, like that DT3 in Fellas. Maybe not picking into that DT4 right now, as that is alt BPM. It says 330 on the sheet, plays like 165, so I doubt we're going to be seeing that one. And instead, it's going to be a different type of mechanics map. It's that Hard Rock stream pick, the Hard Rock 2v2 map, True Love. 190 BPM or so streams on that map at CS 5.5. Big emphasis on flow aim and lots of jumps between the flow aim. So kind of a mixed mechanics pick there. Would still be emphasis on the streams and the flow aim on Hard Rock.
You can tell they're going right back to Hard Rock double time, and I feel like they're going to truly exhaust these pools. When you look at the stats, I mean, you can't question that method. That's exactly what I would do too here. But Hard Rock 2, we saw this last match. It's what they put it away with here, or what Chippy Chapa put the match away with last match. Very quick, very unforgiving. Looking at Saiku here with Gamer in the lobby.
Hey, you mentioned how quick this map is. You know, we talked about some of the DT picks are blinking, you miss it short, under 2 minutes. This one's 1 minute and 34 seconds. This is, I think, the shortest map in the pool. Outside of DT4 is the only map in the pool that is shorter. So this is the second shortest pick in the pool, and you're going to have to be on point here, as we do get a little bit of client issues. Looking at Furyu and Jacob 3 not loading in right now, so hopefully some mechanics on the client can get their gameplay on the screen as well. Get everybody ready to go. Gamer and Saiku, once again, as Bowen said, in for side of Jashin no Konrei. Two very, very good stream players. Gamer in particular, an extremely good Hard Rock mechanics player, and of course we already saw Saiku on one of those mechanics picks earlier on the too. Very, very solid overall player, and especially on Hard Rock streams. You know, if it's not no mod speed streams, it's a lot of Hard Rock flow aim streams on the profile for Saiku, so right up his alley.
Looks like there was just an early miss by Furyu, and that is the lone difference maker here, putting Jashin no Konrei on top of Washingtowa at the moment. But anybody's game here as we approach that halfway mark. Oh, Furyu is going to go down again. Traded by Saiku. That is going to keep Washingtowa in it. They're still behind. They're going to need some help, but they're not going to be able to run away with that lead now, as Jacob and Gamer are trading each other out with the full combos.
Still a little bit of a score lead here for Jashin no Konrei, though, about 100,000 score up on the other side. But there goes a miss for Gamer, and now it's Jacob 3, Faker 3, holding on to the full combo, the only one left in the lobby. Can he hold long enough to keep this on the side of Washington? There's the score lead.
Yes, sir, he can. Jacob 3 will finally give up the ghost there, but the job has been done, damage done. Is it enough? Wait, it comes back the other way. Saiku's there with Gamer. It's not enough. It's not secure. And Jashin no Konrei gonna flip it back right as Washingtowa had it. Talk about a tug of war.
Extremely close map. I mean, best score in the lobby by far for Jacob 3 over that 700k mark, but double 500ks for the side of Jashin no Konrei is enough to keep it on their side. Really, the story of that one is the pop-off from Jacob 3, but just not quite able to pull off the carry performance, as Furyu had a pretty tough time with that map. So the overall team consistency on the 2v2 there, really important for Jashin no Konrei in taking that pick, as they won by less than 10% of the score from the side of Washingtowa. And if that were a 1v1, it's a break point.
Yeah, absolutely. Jacob almost able to bring that one back for Washingtowa, and that would have been a huge break point for Washingtowa, taking it on a Hard Rocker double time when they're not favored. Man, 8% difference. So close. But Washingtowa now, not the end of the world. It's a tie game 2-2. You've got the pick. And it's going to be hidden 3. Yep, that makes sense.
Yep. Hidden alt map here picked up for Washingtowa. You look at specifically hidden alt in the qualifiers, and Washingtowa, yeah, way ahead there by about 600k on the 4v4 hidden alt map in qualifiers. So definitely a skill set that they are well acquainted with as a team. And if you are picking into this as a 3v3 map, getting that better roster consistency on these hidden picks is really solid for them. They've already won 2 gimmick maps, 1v1 versus Silas, and the rest of the roster here for Jashin no Konrei is really not hidden players. So I think this one should go maybe even better than the previous 1v1 for the side of Washingtowa. Going to see who comes in for Jashin and Konrei to try to take a break point here. Looks like it's going to be Xylus, Saiku, and Spectre on this one. Saiku and Spectre, I can understand, both very good floating players. In the case of Saiku and Spectre, better on the hidden, but it is going to be Gamer swapping in for Saiku, a bit more of a well-rounded tournament player than Saiku, who tends to specialize more in those maps, hard rock, double time. Konrei, Mitten, Ethan Tricks, and Twilight in for the side of Washingtowa. First time we've seen Twilight so far this match. Very good finger control and gimmick players. Twilight, formerly known as Night Evil. Really solid tournament player overall. Was a carry player for the side of the USA 4-digit World Cup team in the previous year.
Looks like we're going to be getting underway here. A little panic button clickaroo will get them loaded in and synced up. Washingtowa looking to regain the lead and continue their winning ways on the gimmick maps. An early miss is going to come out from Spectre. And some early act drops from Gamer as well. And a miss. So definitely a better launch here for Washingtowa. We figured the better hidden team, but
it's always a toss-up until you actually see the map come out, right? You never know if the other team's going to have some pop-off scores, if they're going to be able to find some consistency in one of the early stages. There's a miss for Konrei Mitten to start things out on the side of Washingtowa. So one full combo to two, and it seems like Gamer and Spectre are really having some trouble with this. Gamer in particular at 86% accuracy, really having a tough time with the intro on this map. Spectre a little bit better off at that 92, but that's not saying too much. The entire other team above 94, and Konrei Mitten, despite the miss, still at 98% accuracy. Xylus, the best act for Jashin, also finding the break there, so all the FC's gone for Jashin. This is just a white break.
Yep, and the lead is already at 350,000 points for Washingtowa and growing fast. And again, this is what we were talking about. We knew just one of these teams is a hidden team and one of these teams is not. That's just how it goes. Ethan Tricks popping off right now on the big combo.
I will say, I usually expect to see better scores out of Xylus, but I kind of sympathize. He's been playing other tournaments since 8 a.m. local time for him. It is now 1:30 p.m. local time. This is 5.5 hours into just tournament matches, let alone warm-up for Xylus. So, you know, show me if you can do better after 6+ hours of those who game player, right? Like,
I might have a little bit of fatigue.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of fatigue coming out for the hidden specialist on the side of Jashin Konrei. Still top scoring the map for his own team, but unfortunately, even the best score from Jashin still worse than
Ethan
the two bottom scores for the side of Washingtowa. And yeah, Ethan Tricks with the full combo is just crazy.
920,000 points out of Ethan Tricks in the full combo. 3-2, Washingtowa in front. Dio, this has been a good match. So far, it's been very on brand for the 8-9 seed. You know, I get a point, you get a point. You know, no break points. We're going to tiebreaker, right? That's what's in the script. I don't know if you got it.
You know, they let me access the map pools, but somehow the script got lost in translation. So I had to kind of spitball at the start of this match, figure it out for myself. But yeah, I think this is going just about to expectation for these two teams. We might not see the full hidden pool picked for the side of Washingtowa, by the way. So I want to see where they try to go as the map pool starts to get smaller and smaller as we come down to those last couple of picks for each of these teams. As that hidden 2 is actually 222 BPM speed tech. It's not really kind of your typical hidden map. So some of the mechanics players on the side of Jashin, in particular, players like Xylus and Gamer, I think would be really solid on a map like that. As for Jashin, they're going to be going with another DT pick here, another pure mechanics pick, 270 BPM AR8 DT, pure speed focus for this one. It's Fellas Long Remix by Onoken. It says long remix, but this is still 1 minute and 49 seconds after double time. Of course, DT shortening the map by quite a bit. So, you know, another blink and you miss it sort of speed map, but right up the alley of a team like Jashin with lots and lots of very good speed players on the team.
And after this pick, we will be going into our final ban phase. So the map pool is definitely going to narrow down quite a bit in between this pick and the next pick. And that should definitely kind of set the stage for the finale of this match. But for Jashin, very on par, hit hard rock double time. It's been working for him for the most part. We'll see if it carries him there. But you know that Washingtowa are going to have a hard rocker double time ban scouted for that next ban phase.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think probably we'll end up seeing the DT1 banned out for Washingtowa. As again, that DT4 Kirby mix map plays like an alt map in the double time pool, so not something I think they want to ban out. In fact, maybe a potential pick for Washingtowa. We'll see what they choose when we get to that point. For now, starting up this double time 3, very early miss for Saiku on the side of Jashin and Konrei. Couple of early misses for both Kiryu and WarpsCon on the side of Washingtowa. RNG also finding miss there for Washingtowa. Same for Aimbot Cone on the side of Jashin, but it's Xylus to hold on to the full combo for them and to secure the majority of this score lead so far.
Yeah, some misses coming in across the board here, but it's Xylus and WarpsCon with the big combos. But it's a slight combo advantage for Jashin, just slightly higher combos all around. That's going to be a slight advantage for them. But Washingtowa are right there, waiting for a collapse from Jashin no Konrei. They are there and ready. Still only down by about 125,000 points.
Yeah, it's not a huge score lead here for Jashin so far. You still have, as you said, a big combo on WarpsCon until a little while ago did find that miss. But Fury and RNG with matching combos for Aimbot Cone and Saiku. So if you do see a miss come through for two members on the side of Jashin, this could swing back the other way. In the meantime, though, score lead continuing to grow. There's a miss for two members, Aimbot Cone and Saiku, but there's everyone gone on the side of Washingtowa. It's once again WarpsCon versus Xylus, and that's combo lead for Jashin.
Yep, and now at this point, it is Washingtowa is going to need to see a miss from Xylus to have any chance of taking this point, because Xylus is just doing all the damage in the world with 750 combo and counting into the final sections of the map, and I don't think there's anything Washingtowa can do.
Doesn't seem like it. Not enough combo to stay to come back, even if you see a full team right for the side of Jashin. Almost 500,000 score lead with that FC from Xylus still intact. Still holding on to the full combo from the very start of the pick. 98 accuracy from him as well. And we're just talking about maybe some fatigue setting in for Xylus. It might just be reading fatigue as, 270 BPM DT map, no sweat.
He was listening.
Easy.
He was listening to us. He said, you talking mess about me, Xylus? I'm gonna drop an S rank FC 1.1 milli. How's that for fatigue? Oh, on double time too, by the way. Just
Yeah, of course. Xylus, a very good hidden player, but all of his top plays and the reason why he is a top 50 player in the world right now on the leaderboards is those speed maps. He's a very, very good DT player, in addition to that low AR reading that made him a real threat in tournaments from 2021 onward. So to expectation, I think, for Jashin, holding on to a pretty wide score lead throughout the rest of that map. And as you said, Dolan, we're now going to go into the ban phase, the last phase of bans in the match, these staggered bans, giving a little bit of leeway for both teams to pick some of the maps they're most comfortable on first before we get down to the real nuts and bolts of the pool towards the very end of the match. We'll see where both of these teams want to place those bans again as the match has gone so far, probably looking at one of those mechanics bans for the side of Washingtowa, and probably looking at another gimmick ban for Jashin no Konrei. And there it is, hidden 4, banned out by Jashin. No surprises there. It is the hidden aim map, but a lot of aim control, a lot of finger control in that map as well. And it is AR9 flat, so a bit of a reading challenge on that map as well. And the DT1 banned out for Washingtowa. That is the AR 10.3 DMB burst aim map to 60 BPM and 7.6 stars. So yeah, you don't really want to 1v1 somebody from a mechanics team.
And it's, they're going to go right into no mod 4 here, but you called that DT1 ban pretty obvious, I feel. And they're going to go right into a no mod 4 here. 2.5 minutes. AR8.
Yeah. This is the other low AR reading map left up in the pool after the hidden one was already first picked by Washingtowa. This one a 4v4 and far easier. A lot of difficult overlapping patterns in the hidden one. Not really the case here. It is just AR8 awkward aim, and that's it. The thing that does make this map difficult enough for this pool, it is a 6-star flat map, so still a little mechanics to this, and it is 220 BPM. 220 BPM AR8 aim is extremely combo dense. So if you're not up to snuff on your low AR reading and your combo density reading, even if the patterns are very simple, you can still fall short on trying to make sense of what's going on the screen.
Indeed, and finally we're going to see a 4v4 map. It's going to be Xylus, Aimbot, Cone, Coda, and Gamer in the lobby for Jashin. And for Washingtowa, it's RNG, Eat the Tricks, Conrad, Mitten, and Twilight.
These rosters mostly make sense for both of these teams. You're looking at some of the all-rounders for the side of Jashin, no Konrei, alongside Aimbot Cone as well. Somebody who is, usually in for speed maps, but been around the tournament scene long enough to have played his fair share of low AR reading as well. And on the side of Washingtowa, lots of those low AR reading players and gimmick players, RNG and Twilight coming in for this as well, whereas we've seen mostly Conrad, Mitten, and Ethan Trips on the low AR hidden maps so far.
Early miss for Coda. That's going to be yet another one he'll find there. So it's a slight advantage for Washingtowa. Aimbot Cone with a pretty big act drop there down to 87.
Again, despite this relatively simple patterning, it's mostly jumps and bursts, and that's it. A lot of notes on screen at the same time when you get those bursts, when you get those longer jump chains. So dropping accuracy, I think, expected for some of the players in this lobby. Double S still intact for Gamer, though, looking very comfortable. As I call it out, he dropped from 100, but still best stack in the lobby, up at 99.6 right now. But consistent team accuracy, pretty high for Washingtowa at the moment as well. Nobody below the 94 mark. It's just Ethan Tricks down there. Everybody else at 96 or above.
And Ethan Tricks and Twilight finding misses now, so that's going to allow Jashin a chance to come back into the matchup here. But it's still 2 FCs to 2. Xylus and Gamer against RNG and Conrad, Mitten. Coda is continuously struggling, and that is going to put Washingtowa out in front. Aimbot Cone trying to recover. But it's Coda and Twilight struggling now.
Yeah, see how much Washingtowa can take advantage of this combo lead. Again, you still have 2 FCs for each team. One on Xylus and Gamer for the side of Jashin, and 2 on the side of RNG and Conrad Mitten for Washingtowa. But a lot of this is due to the accuracy. I mean, again, 93 AC for Coda, 92 AC for Aimbot Cone, 92 AC on the side of Ethan Tricks, but that 96 for the side of Twilight is doing a lot of work keeping the score on their side. He actually misses on air during the slow section, but Xylus trades.
Yeah, Xylus trades, missed on air as well, and now we're right back to square one, and Washingtowa is looking very comfortable, very good. Conrad, Mitten, and RNG, 2 FCs to 1. It's only Gamer for Jashin. Aimbot Cone trying to help provide some support, but it's just an overall better team performance for Washingtowa.
With those 2 full combos still intact, there's not really a lot that anyone on the side of Jashin can do unless we see breaks for Conrad and RNG here coming up on the end of the map. It's not going to be enough even with a break, and that is a 250,000 score lead almost for Washingtowa on that map. Not too big a percentage lead, but really solid overall scores from those 2 Nomad FCs coming out of RNG and Conrad Mitten versus just the one from Gamer on the side of Jashin. Solid pick once again for Washingtowa, and Dolan, this match keeps trading picks back and forth, keeps the tension high in this one as neither team has dropped a break point. We have seen both teams just winning their own picks on completely different styles of maps. Give me a good ending to this one.
And it hasn't been a blowout on every single map all the way. There have been times where it's gotten hairy, but each team has inevitably won on their pick. And now it's a 4-3 situation for Washingtowa. The pressure is back on Jashin Konrei because now we're in a high pressure situation here. You get a break point come across here. Washingtowa has pick with match point.
Yeah, and now Jashin looking for yet another one of those mechanics maps left in the pool. You've got the Nomad 1, some awkward aim at a higher BPM, 210 for that map. Hidden 2 is questionable, but I think pickable for Jashin. It is that 222 BPM Camellia Usao remix at 4 minutes long. Really difficult speed tech map on Hidden. And you have quite a lot of mechanics left in the Nomad with both ID and Lika open in the Hard Rock 3-4 slots as well. And it is going to be that Hard Rock aim consistency in ID by Lisa. 3 minutes and 33 seconds of some pretty high spacing jumps on Hard Rock.
And again, not a surprising pick here at all from Jashin. They're sticking to their game plan. It's a tale of 2 teams. It's mechanics versus gimmicks. Going right back to some more mechanical picks here.
I think the big difference with this pick. You know, every pick we've seen so far from the side of Jashin Konrei has either been Hard Rock streams, as we saw with the Hard Rock 2, or it's been speed of some kind, right? All they have picked so far is tapping against the team of Washingtowa. So they're going to have to start branching out a little bit. We see that with this pick. Aim, often thought of as a more RNG skill set in tournaments, especially on a lower difficulty map like this, right? This is in a 3 slot. This is not the 7.5 star Nomad 1 where you can have just your best aim player in and completely pop off and dominate the map. This is a map that's a little bit easier and maybe more doable for a lot of members on the other team. So we'll see if that ends up impacting the score at all on this map. This is the most dangerous pick so far for Jashin Konrei, Xylus, Saiku, and Spectre in on the Hard Rock aim consistency map here. RNG, Twilight, and Conrad Mitten coming in to try and take a break point, try and secure a match point against Jashin Konrei.
Yeah, and this, as you said, this is the point where the pressure is now applied, and it's firmly on Jashin Konrei. They need this point, or else it will be match point for Washingtowa. Early miss coming out from Spectre. That's the only thing to report there. Conrad Mitten also did find one very early in like the first 20 combo, but still plenty of map left, plenty of time. Spectre again.
For now, accuracy looking relatively good for both teams as well, all around that 98-97 mark for hack on all 6 players. Another couple of misses for both Conrad Mitten and Spectre to come out. So it's just those two trading back and forth at the moment. Not a significant score lead for either side, but a slight one for the side of Washingtowa. A little bit of combo lead for Conrad Mitten, giving them that score lead so far. And there's a break on another full combo from Saiku on the side of Jashin. It's just Xylus left alone now for Jashin Konrei up against the double full combo from RNG and Twilight here. And again, combo lead still on Conrad Mitten compared to Spectre. So, yeah. And there goes Xylus as well, and that is huge.
This could be the turning point of the match right here. Double FC, basically 2.5 FCs here from Washingtowa versus no combo on the side of Jashin Konrei. Spectre actually has done a nice job recovering, but unfortunately no teammates with combo. And now it's all Washingtowa. And Jashin Konrei are at their mercy. They need a double miss, and they need it soon.
Yeah, this is just rough right now for Jashin Konrei. We'll hope to see
there's
some
one
kind of misses to even it out. There's Twilight to miss, and there's Conrad Mitten as well.
But it's
followed up by misses from Saiku and Spectre, and it's still RNG holding the full combo against Xylus with only 300 combo to match. Big combo lead still intact for Washingtowa, and as long as RNG holds a little bit longer, this might just become unsalvageable for Jashin, despite some of these combos going into the last third of the map now.
I mean, you see that score bar. Every note that RNG combos just further and further rockets it to the left side. They need the miss to come out from RNG ASAP. They need it now, a third of the map left, because they're going to need all that time to try to force the comeback if it's going to come out. There's the miss from RNG, but do they have any combo? They do. Xylus and Saiku are there with Spectre. They've got to go now. Twilight is trying to hold them at bay, but Conrad Mitten also going down with RNG. There's no combo for Washingtowa. There's some time here for Jashin Konrei, but they've got a big score gap to overturn here, Dio.
It's going to be close coming into the end of the map now. Coming up on that last quarter of the map, there is still time for this to go back the way of Jashin Konrei, but they're going to have to hold. It's still just over a 200,000 score lead for the side of Washingtowa. Twilight, RNG, and Conrad Mitten with good recoveries as well, so that combo lead not increasing.
Yeah.
No further misses for any of these players so far.
And
they're going to see the precarious state of this map during the break right before the last PI time, and it is going to be a tough one to hold the nerves on.
Well, Twilight goes down. Twilight goes down. Washingtowa just have to limp this home, and they've got a massive break point and a chance to put the match away, but the misses are coming out. Twilight is down, traded by Saiku, and Washingtowa might finally have the break point needed, might finally have broken the status quo, and the team miss is completed from Jashin Konrei. Washingtowa are going to take a break point.
That is just absolutely massive for Washingtowa. That is not the win for Jashin Konrei. That is the win for Washingtowa. That is the win for the lower seeded team in this match on a mechanics pick. We said it at the start of this pick, Dolan. This is the most dangerous pick so far for Jashin no Konrei, and turns out that analysis is warranted. They dropped the breakpoint by just over 100k, and that's enough to give a 5-3 lead with next pick to Washingtowa in this best of 11. Again, the roster for Jashin no Konrei, two digits, almost two top 50 players, and a 3-digit versus 3 4-digits in for that map, and they still managed to pull off the breakpoint. That lower difficulty on those 3-4 slots coming back to bite the team for Jashin no Konrei, and this is now massive. There's still some gimmick maps left up in this pool as well. You still have access to
it's gonna be the Kirby mix.
Oh, there it is.
Whoa, what a way! Oh man, if they can put it away on this, that'd be quite something. But look at the tail of this match here. Ever since the last ban phase, these past 2 maps were won by less than 10% of the other team's score.
Yeah, it's been super close since the last ban phase, and now you're going to get probably another pretty close map. Yes, it's an alt pick, but it's still in that DT pool. It's still maybe a little comfortable for a lot of players on the side of Jashin no Konrei, as a lot of this map focuses on that flow aim. It's not as high spacing as a lot of Kirby mix maps that you tend to see in tournament, right? Where you get these huge spacing wiggle patterns all over the map on stuff like the Kirby mix you see in OWC, for example. This one, far lower star rating, far lower spacing, and far more comfortable for lots of players. This is also, again, the shortest map in the pool, 83 seconds for this map. So blink and you miss it. Any combo breaks, even right at the start of the map,
No subs.
can be extremely impactful.
No subs. They are going right back in with this in a 4v4 scenario here. No subs. It's going to be Xylus, Saiku, Spectre, Gamer for Jashin no Konrei, RNG, Ethan, Trix, Conrad, Mitten, and Twilight for Washingtowa. Like you said, blink and you miss it. Here we go. The teams are already at 100,000 points.
All right, let's see how well they can do. No breaks early on for anyone besides Xylus and Spectre, actually both breaking within about the first 100 combo of the map. 4-way full combo still intact for the side of Washingtowa, and that's already 100,000
Gamer.
Dolan. There's Gamer as well.
Gamer is down, and there's no misses to report for Washingtowa. This is a great launch. It's looking good. Quarter of the map's already gone. Conrad, Mitten, and Twilight, double miss. But again, they're still looking great. They've still got 2 FCs. It's over to Jashin no Konrei. What do they have? Nothing. They need to recover really quickly, and they need some misses. Conrad, Mitten, and Twilight are going to go down again, Dio. It's already a hairy situation here. It's coming back to center here. Jashin are coming back, but Xylus goes down.
There's still big combo on Saiku with that FC. There's good recovery from Spectre and Gamer. Despite this double FC for RNG and Ethan Trix, I don't know if it's going to be enough to keep it on their side. It's just over 100,000 score lead, less than 120k in favor of Washingtowa at the break. A third of the map left, and in we go to the final sections of this one. Big diff spike at the end of this map, though, and the spacing does increase quite a bit, and you might start to see some breaks from some of these players on either
They don't break.
Nobody gives an inch.
They don't break. Washingtowa hold with the hold of their lives. It's going to come around to the final end of the map, and they're going to get this upset win if they can hold. Spectre goes down with Xylus. It's a triple miss for Jashin no Konrei. Conrad Mitten goes down. It matters not, and Washingtowa have the win over Jashin no Konrei.
240,000 points at the end of the map. The last 2 maps before this won by less than 10% of the opposing team score for Washingtowa, but a win is a win regardless of how close it is, and that is 6-3 for the lower seeded team in this matchup. Our second upset of the weekend here in the round of 16. Very well played by Washingtowa, just barely edging that last map out as well. I think if the rest of Jashin no Konrei holds and just Conrad Mitten breaks, it might have gone over to the side of Jashin, but only Conrad Mitten breaks for Washingtowa. 3 members break for Jashin, and that doubles their score lead from 120k right before the ending to 240k at the end of the map.
You know, you look back at the course of this match, and to me, what makes the difference here for Washingtowa is their ability to start better consistently on maps than Jashin no Konrei. Sure, Jashin no Konrei, they had a defined skill set, and when they came in on those early DT and Hard Rock maps, they won. But Washingtowa, on these last 3-4 beat maps, they as a team just had a better launch, a better start, and that resulted in a better score. Jashin no Konrei was missing at the start. They couldn't hold consistent combos. Washingtowa looked very good, very well-rounded as a team. And now they will be taking on the number 1 seed next week in the quarterfinals. I'm Korean too.
Yeah, good luck to them there. I don't know quite if they're going to be able to abuse Gimmick against a team with worst HR player, MCY4, Boshiman, Enri on the roster, right? Like, I don't know if they're going to quite be able to do the same thing on a more difficult pool next weekend.
It'll be a learning experience.
It'll be a learning experience, good tournament experience for the side of Washingtowa. Good luck to them in that matchup versus the first seed in the tournament. But that is a great win for Washingtowa, right? They secure themselves at least top 12 with that, right? They're going to get through the quarterfinals, whether they win or lose. They're going to make it into the semifinals, either in winners or probably losers bracket, if we're being realistic, unfortunately for Washingtowa. But they secure themselves at least one win in this tournament. They secure themselves at least a top 12 finish. So congratulations to them.
And I mean, they showcase just how well-rounded they are. Like you said, they went up against a team that had several 2 digits, 3 digits, and they're a team of what, 4 digits? 5 digits?
That Hard Rock 1, that was the crucial break point, right? Or Hard Rock 3, excuse me, the Hard Rock aim map. They had a full roster of 4 digits in on that map and were able to win a mechanics pick against a team that was significantly higher ranked than them. So the versatility on the early stage pools really coming in clutch for Washingtowa. And I think throughout the rest of this tournament, we're probably going to see them lean more into some of that versatility on some of those 3-4 slot picks. As again, the pools only get harder from here. So well done to Washingtowa. Well played from Jashin and Konrei as well. That was a very close match the entire way through. They all played very well. But unfortunately, just a difference of 100K, 200K on 3 maps in a row is enough to bring them down and put them in the losers bracket after their first match.
Yeah, unfortunate for them. They're going to be bounced to the losers bracket, but that's a team that's going to be scary to face in the losers bracket. And they're definitely a team that's probably going to scale slightly better as the map pools get harder. With these early map pools, you tend to see more upsets with lower seeded teams just because the map pools are easier. It's not the hardest maps yet. But credit to Washingtowa. They executed the game plan. They stayed consistent, and they took the crucial break point when needed. And in the dying hours of the match, when you needed consistency, they had it. Jashin and Konrei didn't. They're moving on. Congrats to them.
Yeah. And that is going to do it for the matches in the round of 16 this weekend as well. Don't go anywhere, though. We're going to be starting off with the quarterfinals map pool showcase shortly. In the meantime, go ahead and check out the bracket here. We have the losers bracket matchups next weekend between True and Jashin and Konrei, seed 16 versus seed 8 in that first losers bracket match, followed up by Stockfish versus Koyori's Nazgor in the losers bracket as well. That is seed 4 Stockfish dropping down to the losers bracket in the first weekend versus seed 12 in Koyori's Nazgor, seed 15 versus 10 in Gort versus Watson, and Wait We're Goated versus Bunny Battalion, seed 14 versus 11. So some close matchups in that losers bracket next weekend, as well as a couple of unexpected drop downs to the losers bracket from both Jashin no Konrei and Stockfish, those higher seeded teams losing in upset fashion in the round of 16 here.
Yeah, and that is going to complete the first weekend of the Stellar Series OSU tournament. Round of 16 is in the books, Dio, and we'll be on to the quarters. And next week, we will say goodbye to 4 teams, cutting the field down to 12. But before we do that, we got to give them a map pool.
We do have to give them a map pool, and we also have to give a shout out to Wacom and Drunk Deer once again. We have the code for SSOT's discount on Wacom's site. Excuse me. We both have Wacom tablets.
Yes.
I've got a bunch of signatures on mine from I don't know how many OSU players at this point.
His is a little cooler than mine.
Quite a few. So yeah, go ahead and check out Wacom. The code in chat SSOT40 on the Wacom eStore is for 40% off Intuos tablets specifically. So do make sure to use it on those ones in particular. And also we have a code for the Drunk Deer site as well, 20% off Drunk Deer keyboards on their website using the code OSGO. So thanks a bunch to Wacom and Drunk Deer for sponsoring the tournament. I actually use a Drunk Deer keyboard. I have it right here. There it is.
Well, there you go. Wow.
There we go. It's good.
I don't have one of those. I need to get me one, but I can get me one for 20% off now. So
there you go. Thanks
to Drunk Deer. Thanks to Wacom. We love our sponsors. And shout outs to the organizers, referees, and all the staff behind the scenes that make this happen. I know we typically do that at the end of the tournament, but It's going to be a long campaign, and your help is appreciated.
All right, that'll do it for us for now. Thank you, everyone, once again for watching. And if you're interested in what maps these teams will all be playing next weekend, stick around. We're going to get started with the quarterfinals map pool showcase here shortly. It's going to be another interesting one, slightly harder pool than the round of 16, but of course, a little bit of a different format every week, as with the format of the tournament itself, you can't just slot pool. You can't have the same things every week. So it's going to be yet another mashup of tons of different types of maps and tons of different types of slots, all of varying difficulty once again. So yeah, stick around and find out what maps we're playing next weekend. Thanks a bunch to Wacom and Drunk Deer. Thank you all for watching. And we'll see you soon for the quarterfinals map pool showcase.
Bye-bye.
It seems I'm muted. It seems I'm muted. I'm looking at Twitch chat. We are muted. We are back. Hello, chat. We are finally here, unmuted. Welcome back to Stellar Series OS Tournament. We're here for the quarterfinals Mappool Showcase. We just watched the very last match of the weekend between Jashin no Konrei and Washingtowa. That one ending up in a upset victory for Washingtowa, 6-3 over Jashin no Konrei. It was a very close match back and forth with some very close maps to end it off. Go check that one out after this showcase if you missed that match. I'm Dio. I'm here with my good friend, fake Doland, actually, Demarche, for the Mappool Showcase. As that is definitely not Doland on your screen. That is Demarche. Hello, man. How's it going?
Yes, I am Doland. Nice to meet you all. Pleasure to be here. Really excited for this this quarterfinals pool. Some interesting maps to come up. Dio, I know you've picked out a lot of these. Are there any highlights that you particularly want people to look at with this pool?
Well, you know, personally, I have a soft spot for Nomad 4, as we'll get to that. I don't think that's a particularly interesting pick, but we'll get to it. I got a soft spot for it. And I think some of the more interesting ones for players are going to be the first two hidden maps in this pool. There's quite a few customs in this pool as well. So I'm going to be looking forward to those, as well as some of my favorite picks in the pool being in the Hard Rock pool in this map pool. I think Hard Rock 2, Hard Rock 4 are going to be pretty interesting for a lot of the players. So we'll get to those when we get to them. But of course, as with any map pool showcase, we got to start off with the first map in the pool. That is the Nomad 1. So we'll get that started shortly. In the meantime, once again, shout out to Wacom and Drunk Deer. We have discount codes 40% off for Wacom Intuos tablets and 20% off Drunk Deer keyboards on their respective sites. Shout outs to them. I have both a Wacom tablet and a Drunk Deer keyboard. Can confirm they're good stuff. All right, let's get into it. The Nomad 1. This is the 1v1 map in the Nomad pool. Mapped by Nuge. This is also the first custom map in the pool. Anti-Gravity Zone by Purandora, the Cloud9 difficulty. This one is very hard. It is 6.97 stars, but overall really, really difficult. Again, these one slots in this tournament are focused around being maybe about half a star rating higher than the target star rating for the round. Target star rating this round is 7.25 stars, so you're going to expect this to play like a high 7-star difficulty tech map.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff to kind of break this map down. Like you said, it's a little bit harder. Lots of like interesting tech sliders. There's a lot of variety, I think, in this Nomad 1. Which is what's really nice. It really tests players on a wide variety of skill sets, which is I like difference. I like new stuff.
It seems like we are having some trouble with the audio in the game. There is no audio coming through, I think, on either the Twitch stream or the Discord stream. So let's go ahead and get some music started for everyone there. There we go. Should be good now. And yeah, there's a variety of things going on in this tech map, but I think this is standard Nuge tech mapping. 6.97 stars, lots of difficulty built into the flow aim and slider aim in this map. A little bit of finger control here and there, but yeah, look at the patterns on screen right now. You're looking at a lot of really difficult slider aim with these super high velocity sliders, lots of slider streams, a few buzz sliders here and there, and just, yeah, very tricky, difficult patterning overall on this one.
Yeah, and it's got a couple of like slower sections to it where players will get a tiny bit of combo, but really the difficulty is throughout on this one. There really isn't a lot of places. There's no break sections in particular where players can kind of reset their aim. So it's really about keeping focused, I think, throughout this map, which is going to be, it's going to be the big test for players, I think.
Yeah, this is definitely the hardest map in the Nomad pool. It's the more gimmick-focused map in the Nomad pool as well. A lot of the rest of this Nomad pool is going to be more mechanics-focused for the majority of the maps here. So looking forward to seeing a lot of the more tech-focused players, a lot of more gimmick-focused players on this. And looking forward to seeing some of the specialists come out for this pick from those higher-seeded teams, right? Some of the lower-seeded teams more mechanic-focused, some of them more gimmick-focused. But I think a lot of the higher-seeded teams with some extremely good tech players on them. So looking forward to seeing what kind of scores we can get on a map like this weekend.
Yeah, some of the players we've got in this tournament will absolutely eat this sort of map up. And could set some ridiculous scores. I'd love to see an FC on this map, but to FC something like this in one try is a pretty tall order, I would say. Very tall order.
Well, we'll see what the players end up being able to do on this map again. Just very tricky. We kind of moved this map around a couple times during the pooling process as well. This was originally lower down in the no mods, and it was just too hard for the pool, so we just moved it to no mod 1 and switched around some of the normal map picks instead for that map. So yeah, good luck to the players who are going in on that 1v1 pick. And now we get into one of those other mechanics picks in the no mod pool that I was talking about. The no mod 2 for quarterfinals is Tempest by Plum, mapped by Knowledge King. This is kind of your typical Knowledge King stream map, and I think a lot of players will be very familiar with the sort of map that you see in this slot. And this is, of course, as no mod 2, usually expect the stream map. This time around, you do get it in that no mod 2 slot.
Yeah, this map's got good variety on its spacing. Real mix from kind of dense stream patterns to then in the middle of a stream will stretch out and requires players to adjust to that. Very typical Knowledge King kind of mapping. But again, you know, there's also a couple of jumps in there that kind of make sure players are still fully aware that it's not just the stream map. So a little bit of aim to focus on, but mostly it's about the streams and the tapping.
Yeah, this one definitely not the round of 16 no mod 2. I do believe those map stats in the bottom right are wrong. This is not the same custom map as we saw in the previous round. It's going to be, again, Knowledge King focused 210 BPM streams. Quite a lot of stamina, quite a lot of phloem in this pick, as Demarsh was talking about. And kind of your trademark Knowledge King corners and stream shapes. Lots of sharp corners into some kind of obtuse corners on the streams, with a lot of straight streams mixed in. I think a lot of players will find a lot of the curved streams very comfortable, and some awkwardness, actually, to some of the straight streams in this map. And if you are lacking in stamina a little bit on a pick like this, it is going to be very difficult to keep your phloem intact on some of those higher spacing patterns. Since we don't have the map stats in the bottom right, I'll read them out for you on this one. 7.72 stars, 210 BPM, minute 58 seconds of drain time, CS4, AR 9.8, and OD 9.5 for this map.
Yeah, so really high overall difficulty on this one as well. Those 210 BPM shouldn't cause too many issues for the kind of players you'll be putting in for this sort of thing. But again, it's that sort of Knowledge King. Anybody who's familiar with this sort of thing will feel right at home on this sort of map. It's a great song, and it's a great stream map.
Yeah, I think a lot of typical stream players will be pretty happy with this sort of pick. Some of the players were a little bit sad to not see a pick like this in the round of 16. Things like the Free Mod 4 taking its place instead. Things like the Hard Rock 2 taking its place instead. So back to a specific focus on just no mod, stream stamina, and phloem for this pick in the pool. We're going to take a second to resolve some of the technical difficulties. So I want to touch on the formatting for the pools once again, because this is a unique tournament format, and as a result, a really unique map pool format for this tournament. So I'll buy some time for the tech difficulties while we talk about that. We've tried to, in every pool, basically balance the 1 and 2 slots with the 3 and 4 slots in each mod category, as well as across all of the pool. So you're going to see, we had a tech map in Nomad 1, a stream map in Nomad 2. You're going to see some different types of maps in the 1-2 slots, whether those are mechanics maps or gimmick maps. You're going to see some slightly different types of maps in those 1-2 slots as we go through the rest of the pool, and some slightly different types of maps in the 3-4 slots between each mod pool as well. And it looks like we are ready to get into that Nomad 3. So let's go ahead and start that one up. It is Banger AF Bro by Camellia as Bang Riot. 245 BPM for this one, and the speed tech pick in the tournament.
Yeah, this map is it's great because it's that sort of Camellia. It's got the Camellia feel, but it's also very burst heavy as well. A lot of the speed revolves around, especially as you start the map, it hits you straight away with those intense bursts. Having it at 245 BPM, those are going to feel incredibly fast. Buzz sliders to watch out for, which are really nasty. Really mixes the speed element with the bursts, as well as the buzz sliders and tech elements. Blends very nicely together on this one.
Yeah, again, Nomad 3, not really an alt map this time around. Clearly not. The 245 BPM tech speed map, as Demarsh was saying, kind of a blend of a lot of different skill sets. We had something similar in the Hidden 2 last weekend. I think it was a pretty hard map, even for a 2-slot in the Hidden pool there. This one a little on the easy side, actually. Target star rating for this pool, 7.25 stars. This one is just over 7 stars. So I think this should be a very accessible map for most players. But you will have to have that speed, you will have to have that slider aim, you will have to have that finger control. So that mix of skill sets might gatekeep a few players from being really consistent on this, despite the lower difficulty.
Yeah, it's a good point, actually. You might see a different lineups than you would normally see on a speedy map like this, because, like you said, the slider tech elements can throw certain players off who just prefer, pure raw speed. So you might see some different lineups on this one, but you'd imagine a lot of top speed players in this tournament will still be able to manage a map like this.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the case for a lot of these maps in the 3-4 slot, right? Despite how tricky we might make them, or how difficult mechanics are on some of them for some of the lower seeded teams, the top teams in this tournament are going to have full rosters for most of these maps because of that lower difficulty. So keeping that in mind while picking these maps maybe as lower seeded teams into some of those top seeded teams is a big point, right? You don't want to pick something like this into a team that's going to have 3 players who can just pull out a full combo out of, thin air and just wipe the floor with you, right? You need to have a overall solid team composition to be able to fight back against something like this. Especially, again, you're seeing more of that slider aim, more of that finger control in a map like this with that higher BPM. Despite the lower star rating, it is still a relatively tricky map.
Yeah, I think because of how intense this map is, I certainly know when I was trying it, you feel like it's very easy to fall behind. 1 minute you're keeping up with the rhythm, and then suddenly, because there's no let up in the song or in the mapping, you have to avoid trying to fall behind on some of these bursts, because they almost they feel like they come out of nowhere when you're just following point to point. So it's a tricky ask to keep up for this entire map length.
Yeah. For those who are just joining us, Nomad 1 in the tournament this week is in the quarterfinals. Custom Nuge tech map that's a little over 7 stars. We're using the unnerfed version of that since we moved it into the 1 slot. And Nomad 2 is Knowledge King's Plum by Tempest, 210 BPM, Stream Stamina, and Flame. That one is slot pooled somehow. It just works out like that sometimes. But of course, Nomad 3 here, not alt. This is the speed tech map in the Nomad pool. So a bit of a tapping focus so far in the Nomad pool, with that Nomad 2, Nomad 3 both being relatively tapping intensive. 210 BPM streams followed by 245 BPM speed. Tech is relatively intensive so far on the tapping. shout outs to Chili Repair for the replay there from several years ago when he played it in a tournament and just happened to have the replay still. And shout outs to the replayer for Nomad 2 as well from Raikaho, and Konkon Kinekon for the Nomad 1 replay. And now we'll get yet another different type of skill set here in the Nomad 4. It's going to be Beautiful Days by Azumi Waki. Sky Flames difficulty here, 7.26 stars. Right on target for the star rating in this pool. It's aim consistency. There's not a lot to talk about with this one, so why don't we just get straight into the map. This is a pick that is very, very straightforward in how it plays, and very, very straightforward in terms of hacking the map as well. I would know. I dropped 0 100s, 1 slider break, and 6 misses on this replay. If that's not a Nomad 1 replay of all time, I don't know what is.
No, that definitely ticks the boxes as a Nomad 1 replay, I'll tell you that. Yeah, like you said, it ticks the box for aim consistency. Skyflame is well renowned for having this kind of style, which is exactly what you're looking for in this type of slot. A lot of linear jumps, as well as cross screen. Really mixing it up here, and again, expect to do that throughout the entire map. There's a couple of breaks later on, but you're still probably 2/3 of the way through this map with no let up at all. So, be prepared for that.
Yeah, a lot of this map is really focused around the first ki time that we're seeing right now, the kind of middle ki and last ki. That's expected for aim consistency maps, right? You're going to get relatively easy patterning outside of those ki times, but you can still miss if you lose focus. This is still high enough star rating that a lot of 4-digit players left in the tournament might struggle a little bit with some of the higher difficulty and higher spacing patterns in this map. But you shouldn't really struggle with reading. You shouldn't really struggle with stamina or AC on this map. It's all about the aim consistency and how well you can keep combo throughout the entire map on a pick like this. This is a relatively long map. And to talk about some of the aim in the rest of the pool as well, since, there's only so many times you can talk about a Skyflame Nomad 1 without repeating yourself over the course of, 20 plus tournaments where you see Skyflame Nomad 1s throughout the year. The rest of the pool has more aim in it, but I think this is really the only aim map that is completely standard in the pool, at least among, Hard Rock hidden free mod pools. So if your team is really hoping for just some basic aim consistency, this is the map for you. You do have aim maps in the rest of the pool, but there is a little caveat to all of those, whether they're a little awkward, whether they're a little high BPM, whether they're a little bit tech focused, whether they're with, double time and AR 10.3, right? So if you are a team that really just wants the most basic aim consistency possible, this is the map for your team, and you should get a 4-person roster practiced and ready to go for it.
Yeah, I think that sums this up quite well. Like you said, everything else it's there, but it comes, like you said, with that little caveat. So, the tricky part, I think, with that Nomad 4 is just going to be, like I said, that until you hit that first break section, those jumps, especially after the first ki time and right before the break, are really quite nasty for those 4-digit players. So, I think I'd be surprised to still be sitting 4-ways on something like this, just because of how much it's expecting of you to keep it consistency-wise. But I definitely think we have some of these higher tier teams that could pull out some amazing scores on this, like, just pure raw aim test. And I'm really excited to see which teams shine on this and which teams start to show their weakness and struggle slightly with this sort of thing.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a interesting pick in a lot of matches because, again, it's still accessible enough for lower-seeded teams. Most of the lower-seeded teams in this tournament, still lots of 3 digits and high 4 digits on the roster. So I think a lot of players are going to feel very comfortable with that map. And, of course, the higher-seeded teams with mostly 2 digits and 3 digits on the roster are going to be very comfortable with low 7-star aim consistency. That's going to do it for the Nomad pool as well. We're already through the 4 Nomads in this pool, and we're going to get, I think, a big jump in difficulty between these next 2 picks, as is intended, going from a map where you have 4 players on the team to a map where you're just 1v1ing with 8 people to choose from. Hidden One this time around, Native Faith, Suwako's theme by Xenogen, mapped by Val. This is the top difficulty on this set, and it is all about that flow aim at around, I believe, 180-ish BPM. Yeah, 183 BPM.
Yeah, again, with this map, it's you'll see, especially with Hidden, it's really nasty because there's a lot of overlapping on these streams of flow aim, especially early on in the map. You'll just see how much these notes overlap, and it can be tricky to follow sometimes, but you know, flow aim mixed with Hidden is a really it's always a tough thing to overcome, something you don't see a lot, because flow aim and Hidden, they don't go well together.
It buffs the difficulty quite a bit, and I think one thing to note about this map compared to, you know, usually when you see hidden flow aim picks in other map pools and other tournaments, it's the normal team size, and they're a lot lower BPM. They're, you know, 165, maybe 175 BPM. This one's closer to 185 BPM, so these are just full-on streams, right? You can't even call this like alt adjacent. And a lot of these stream patterns are still really difficult on the aim control. The constant acceleration and deceleration paired with high curvature on the streams and tons of corners all throughout makes this very, very difficult to kind of judge where your cursor should be exactly. And as well, you still need the finger control and stability on these longer streams to not lose yourself in the tapping on this map if you over focus on the aim. So a very tricky map, very difficult to get a really good score on. Again, as evidenced by the replay, Konkon Kinekon, a very, very good hidden player, still getting around 500k on this map. So good luck to the players on this one. This is a difficult pick, very similar to the Nomad one that we saw in difficulty, but a very different skill set focused entirely on this flow aim. I don't think stamina will be a big challenge here at 183 BPM, but certainly the flow aim is going to be very rough for most of the players on this map.
Yeah, and the things like you mentioned, the finger control and the cut streams as well, in some of this as well, it's hard enough to do it on Nomad, but when you add Hidden, you add just a complete layer of difficulty, not being able to see exactly where you're starting. You really have to be looking so far ahead.
By the way, we're about to get a very silly pattern in this map. This 1/3 section at the end in the top diff is mapped with some very, very big back and forth 1/3 jumps here. So please be prepared. There's some star 1/3s and there's the back and forth 1/3s. Please be prepared for those. Those are 275 BPM, if I can do mental math. So yeah, be prepared for those at the end of the map. Don't let them catch you off guard. I doubt we'll see a double SC on a pick like this, but if it does come down to that, you're going to be looking at that pattern to decide the map between the two players.
Yeah, that is particularly brutal at the end of that map. But I like it. It's a good test for the FC.
It's an interesting start to the hidden pool. We're going to get an interesting continuation to the hidden pool as well. That map also CS 4.6, by the way. So all that aim control on the streams, that much more difficult with the higher circle size. This one as well, a little bit higher circle size for you on Hidden 2. It is some CS5 alt tech hybrid here for the Hidden 2 with firing effect by script, the map by Handsome, and #1 difficulty on a contest map set in JABC, the mapping contest there. This is some alt tech hybrid with a lot of high velocity sliders and a lot of aim control going on. This map, fun fact, before the slider changes to star rating, was high 5 stars. So this saw an over 1.0 star rating increase from the star rating changes to slider difficulty a while back.
Yeah, a lot of the challenge with this map, when you add Hidden to it, really comes to the kind of stop-start nature, which is why it's that mix of like the alt and tech hybrid. You're tapping a lot, but you're also your aim control needs to be on point with this, because you start, you stop, then you carry on, all within the same pattern and note. So, you know, really snapping and jumping back and forth, and then having to be able to control that it can be nasty, and a lot of players can struggle with it. As well as not even talking about the overlapping notes as a result of the starting and stopping your cursor in between patterns.
Of course, this is 2v2, so a little bit more gimmicky of a map. You only need 2 players for this one as well. Less of a focus on the mechanics on this map. Again, it was a 5-star map before the star rating changes, so really don't need skilled mechanics players for this one in any sense of the word. All you need is the ability to play gimmick fairly well. If you can play ult, if you can play tech, if you can play high velocity sliders and deal with some of the slider end catching that makes this map higher star rating, then you can get pretty good scores on this overall. Higher spacing on the ult section starting through the halfway point in the map, and this map kind of divided into 2 sections. You've got the ult section in the first half, and then a bit of a change to how the ult works in the second half. Less of those cut ult patterns, and while they're still there, more of these higher spacing triples and more of the high slider velocity in the second half of the map as well.
Yeah, so you really go from testing like the focus being on the one skill set to flipping it and trying it on the other. And again, you know, it's the low BPM hidden map, so you know it's another thing that players have got to consider. But again, you get, especially like towards the end of the map, you get some really high velocity sliders, which the beat kind of don't lead you into very, very much. So definitely expecting to see some awful slider breaks, catching players out on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. So pretty tricky hidden 2 to get us halfway through the hidden pool there. Shout outs as well to Konkon Kinekon for the replay on that map. You'll see quite a few Konkon Kinekon replays in this pool. Shout outs particularly to him and to Spicy for a lot of the replays in this map pool being done by both of them. And that'll take us into our 3rd map in the hidden pool. It's Goodbye Sengen by Nakari Ayame. Goodbye Sengen has been mapped I don't know how many times. This one, though, a little bit different. It's not pure aim consistency. It is AR8 aim consistency mapped by Mir, with a bit of reading and a bit of flow aim as well in this map. Not quite just the kind of aim low AR that we had in the Nomad 4 slot last week. This time the hidden 3 going to be focusing on that low AR in the hidden pool.
Yeah, I definitely feel like with this map, you kind of get at the start you get a feel for what it has in store, and then, you know, because of how Goodbye Sengen is, you have some nice sections to build up some good combo before you get into that like first ki, and then it really kind of tests you on like you said, the reading focus, you know, as the hard, as well as the you know, consistency areas of this map.
And you can already see some of the like non-aim patterns in this, right? You've got some higher velocity sliders corresponding to the vocals. You've got a lot of awkward aim. You've got a lot of linear triples that require aim from you. You've got these sorts of back and forth triples that you can choose either to cheese if you have precise enough cursor placement to cheese them, or choose to kind of snap flow back and forth on those sorts of patterns, as well as these perfect stack jumps. So this one, you know, yeah, it's kind of aim consistency, but there's a lot of other things going on in this map that you can't just kind of treat it like Maze of Vapor or Kigurumi and just focus on the aim. There is a lot of other stuff going on in this map, and if you can misread any of that, like that sort of linear jump pattern that looked like the space triples we'd seen before in the map but wasn't, very easy to break on something like this if you just misread one pattern and it catches you off.
Yeah, there are also as well, especially once you get into like the bridge section of the song, there are a couple of nasty flow aim streams that players have got to watch out for. They kind of, they're not consistent throughout the map, so they're a bit of a change in focus. for that little section to match the song, but just be aware of those because they will catch you out if you're not prepared for them.
Yeah. Once again, thanks to Konrei for the replay on this map as well. As we didn't have a low AR in the no mod pool, you can expect one in the free mod pool this week instead. Last week, the free mod pool did not have a low AR map because we had a forced low AR pick in the no mod pool. But you're going to see one of those low AR maps make its way into the free mod pool. So gimmick teams, don't despair quite yet. You do still get a second low AR pick in this pool. There are plenty of other more gimmicky maps to follow this one as well. So going to be plenty of options for those teams in this round. There's the hidden 3. There's the low AR pick in the hidden pool. There's one map left in the hidden mod pool here for the quarterfinals map pool, and that is our second custom in the quarterfinals round. It is Blackboard by Nano, custom map by Toybot for the SSOT round quarterfinals. Hidden 4, 7.3 stars, high BPM, and higher approach rate aim as well. This one not quite about the object density, more about the awkward aim, more about just the pure mechanics on this one. AR 9.6, OD 9.2, 248 BPM on this 7.3 star aim custom.
Yeah, a lot of what I like about this map is that you've got a lot of single notes that are kind of stacked onto the end of sliders. So like stacked perfectly on top of the slider end. You know, so if you're someone who still uses a skin with the slider end still on, could potentially catch you out, but just catch you out in general. Trying not to jump off the slider too early because there might be another note stacked awkwardly under there for you.
Yeah, so as you said, a little bit of a focus on aim control as well. It's not just jumps into those sliders as well, so it's not constant cursor velocity. Again, a lot of hidden aim customs and a lot of hidden aim maps tend to focus on that aim control a little bit more. We saw that last week with the Devious Panda Hidden 4 custom. This one doing so in a much different way with that higher BPM aim and with the kind of use of stacks and back and forth jumps in this map to force a little bit of aim control as well as that awkward aim out of players. Last week in the Devious Panda custom with a lot of finger control and those cross-screen-ish linear triples, bringing quite a lot of aim control to the pick. This one doing so in a very different way, and I think a way that's more comfortable for a lot of players. You know, even if you're not necessarily a hidden player, just like Spicy here, it's still possible to get pretty good scores on this map because it is higher BPM, it is higher approach rate. There's a lot less kind of tricky patterns in this map. It's basically all pure mechanics, even if it is somewhat awkward. So I think a lot of players will find this pretty comfortable, and I think it fits pretty well in a 4 slot because of that.
Yeah, also worth noting as well is that going right into that first KI section is that really nasty back and forth jump section that's mixed with doubles as well as singles, all really lovely stacked on top of each other to really test players on their aim control as well as their reading. So watch out for the KIs. They are particularly tough on this map with going into them, so definitely break potential on some of these, but a great custom. I really like this one.
Yeah, thanks a bunch to Toybot for working on this. This was a custom that didn't really require too much oversight. The difficulty was pretty much right on target, and the map was done in advance as well, not just on time, but in advance quite a bit for this one. I mean, this was done back in October, actually. So this one has been done sitting there for 4 months already. So very solid mapping from Toybot, much appreciated with him being super in advance on this one. We really didn't have to change this at all, honestly. There was basically no playtester feedback about this one, despite multiple people playing the map. Everyone who played it basically said it was fine for the round and fine for the slot and felt good to play. So much appreciated there, and I hope the general opinion among the players is the same as the playtesters, because this is a fun one to play, and it was very nice of Toybot to do this custom for us. So thanks to him. Thanks to Spicy for the replay on that one as well. And that'll do it for the hidden pool. That is all for hiddens. We had some mechanics in the 1 slot, some mechanics in the 4 slot, and some gimmick in the 2-3 slot there for the hidden pool. And as we move into the Hard Rock pool, we're going to move into yet another gimmick map in the 1 slot this time. Going to be a relatively difficult one, and our third custom of the pool, Suspicions by Nekomata Master versus DJ Taka. Custom map by Fooders for the quarterfinals in SSOT this year. This is alt and finger control and rhythms in this map. There are a lot of places where you can easily lose accuracy or just break combo due to the aim control involved in this map as well. Quite a lot going on in this one, and for a gimmick map, I think that just makes it all the more difficult in Hard Rock especially.
Yeah, it's a nice little map to start off the Hard Rock pool. I really like a lot of the Nekomaster DJ Taka stuff, and I think this is a really good test of that finger control focus. A lot of interesting rhythms on this one, and again, it's that 150 BPM, like, really short kind of map that I think players, they're either going to love or they're going to hate. And I don't think there's really any in between with this one.
Yeah, this is definitely a polarizing sort of map, right? I think a lot of players are pretty happy with rhythm picks of this vein. I think a lot of people started to dislike some of the quote-unquote modern rhythm mapping that started becoming a tournament staple at the end of 2020 and throughout 2021. And I think a lot of players find this sort of thing that's a lot of aim control and a good amount of finger control with a lot of 1/6 and 1/3 in the map, a little bit, and some 1/8 as well, a lot of 1/8 triples in this map. A little bit more accessible for the most part. That said, just because a rhythm alt gimmick pick in Hard Rock is a little more accessible doesn't make it something that everybody can play. And you're going to need a specialist to come in for this one and pop off with a good score there. Spicy's 540k, also pretty solid. Thanks for the replay there from him. And kind of the same thing with this Hard Rock 2 as well. This is not something that you see in map pools a lot. Got some questions during the round of 16 map pool showcase if we were going to see some CS8 in the pool. Here it is. Kaibutsu by Yowasabi, CS 7.8 precision in the Hard Rock pool for this one. This is the high precision that some people were hoping for as a precision test in these pools with this unique format in the tournament. You only need 2 players to play this, but they need to be pretty comfortable on precision to be consistent on a map like this. This is TV size and very, very low combo. This is 347 max combo. Usually, you miss 100 combo in, you're like, it's not that big a deal, it's fine. You miss 100 combo in here, that's a third of the map. That's 30% of the max combo of this pick. So you really need to be very consistent at every single pattern in this map. That said, there are only a few of them, and we're already a third of the way through. So, yeah, make sure you're consistent at pretty much everything in this map. This is a map that is pretty consistent in difficulty with lots of standout patterns like this spinning 7-note jump pattern. Make sure you're well practiced on this, because if you miss there, you're missing halfway through the pick.
Yeah, it's got that a lot of like linear flow jumps. That's really, if it was just 6.5, I don't think it'd be too easy. But putting this at 7.8 on the CS is just the icing on the cake that's really really sells this map. Plus, it's an absolute bop. It's Yasabi. What more do you want?
And that's basically the entire map. Nice replay by Chillier Pair, by the way. I was in VC. He played this map like 5 or 6 times in a row to get this replay. Which again goes to show, yeah, you can pop off on this map, but it's very easy to just miss anywhere on that pick. And with 100 or 50 combo being a significant portion of the map's max combo, any miss on that is going to tank the score quite a bit. So good luck to the players being consistent on that one. As we move into the third map in the Hard Rock Pool, 3 slot this time around. Going to be another one of those aim consistency picks. If you're looking for aim as a team, once again, you'll find it in a slot that should make it fairly accessible for a lot of your players. Going to be Narashite by Haru Nemuri, the I Hate Mapping difficulty mapped by Wafer. CS 5.46 for this map, CS 4.2 no mod, and just pure aim consistency. This is about 0.1 stars harder than the Hard Rock 3 from last week, which was ID by Lisa. This one a little bit more awkward, as it is mapped by Wafer. It's not just some farm aim consistency, it is a little bit more tricky, this map.
Yeah, again, some interesting mapping on this one. I think the lyrics can kind of throw people off to what's actually being mapped here, but it's very consistent in terms of what players have actually got to aim at. I think it's just certainly first playthrough of this map players will struggle, but I think it's easy to adjust to, especially for the top players in this tournament. They're gonna not really have any issue with this sort of thing. But probably worth noting that try not to sight read this one.
Yeah, I mean it's still sight readable, I think, for a lot of top tournament players and a lot of really good Hard Rock players.
Yeah.
But there are some things about this that make it a little bit different compared to your standard aim consistency map, right? Some overlapping jumps double back on themselves, lots of slider jumps, a little bit of anti-aim, a little bit of awkward aim, a little bit of pattern aim in this map. So not quite just pure aim consistency, and some very long jump chains in this as well. So if you start to lose aim control in one of these long jump chains like we're seeing in this Ki time, you're going to have a very bad time and maybe miss a couple more times than you would normally in another aim map. And I think the star rating a little bit low for this pick, both because of that higher circle size and because of the patterning and longer jump chains in this map, making it that much more difficult compared to what the star rating says.
Yeah, again, and we'll be hitting it soon. But once you get into that bridge section, again, you have that change up of the aim focus, and requires a different kind of aim focus. And like you said, if you've got the nerves going where you're holding an FC at this point, the aim control starts to slip a bit. This is the sort of area where you're going to find a really detrimental break for your team if you're the only one holding combo here. The jump chain in the bridge section around like 60 to 70% of the way through the map. Really, really tough to hold through without excellent aim control.
Big thanks to Wafer for this custom. This one was done back in November. We had a couple of small changes made through some modding from the map poolers and the QA team, but largely this map did most of what we wanted it to do right from the start. So big thanks to Wafer for that. And thanks to him also for being completely fine to just update the circle size pretty much when we asked. This did get buffed from CS4 to CS 4.2 to make it a little more in line with the 3 slot from this pool. So thanks to him for that. And thanks as well to Fooders for the Hard Rock 1 custom. That one didn't need too much playtesting either. Felt about the right difficulty to a lot of playtesters. So a lot of the mappers really on point with the difficulty for the customs in the quarterfinals round. And thanks again to Spicy for the replay on that Hard Rock 3. And now we're going to get something that we haven't seen too much of so far in the pool. Didn't see any of this skill set in the no-mod pool. We did see some ult in the hidden pool with firing effect. And yeah, you can call the Hard Rock 1 ult, but is it really when you have to play 1/8 triples and 1/6 bursts at the map at the same time? Here's some basic ult for all of you looking for that in the pool. Romantic Dancer by Uchida Maya, mapped by Gazamol. This is some 148 BPM, 3.5 minute ult map here. So consistency focus on this one with kind of a minimal finger control focus and far more of a focus on low aim for this map. And yeah, this is ranked with this background somehow.
Or
not ranked. No, it is uploaded. It is uploaded on the website with this background somehow.
again, mappers never cease to amaze me how they get this stuff through.
Anime.
But yeah, that's we all know. But you know, again, yeah, like you said, you'll immediately feel the flow and focus of this map. Like even in the Ki time, everywhere throughout this map, you're always following some form of flow. There isn't a massive focus on back and forth. Wherever your cursor kind of finishes, it'll be near enough to where the next note is going to roughly appear. I think, again, the difficulty with this, like you said, is the length. You know, it's intense. It doesn't really let up, even in its slower sections after the KIs. We've still got to watch out for a lot of these dense quads and nasty like triple flows that will catch players out with the hard rock.
Yeah, and again, there is some finger control in this. I think with most modern alt maps, you can expect a couple 1/6 here and there, but compare that to something like the Hard Rock 1, and there's really not much of it in this map whatsoever. So I think most players will feel pretty comfortable with this map in that regard. Even players who are relatively on the slower end and don't really have that 210, 220 BPM stamina can usually mash through this type of stuff pretty fine. It's mostly quads, maybe a 7-note here and there, like with that one. Biggest thing is going to be finger control leading out of those patterns into some of the other normal 1/4 alt like we just saw. So make sure you practice this one, because even though it is mostly that flow aim, there is still some finger control, and that can trip up certain players on a map like this, especially in a 4-slot. If you don't have players who are well practiced on this, you're not going to have a roster that's really solid on this map. You want to be, still in the early stages of the tournament, dropping mostly above 500k with your roster. So if you're not expecting some of the finger control, if you're not expecting some of the slider aim, you are going to be caught off on this. So this is definitely one to practice, but still a relatively accessible alt map here in the 4-slot for the Hard Rock pool.
Yeah, can we talk about that 1/6 like super fast stream that just kind of comes out of nowhere in the bridge section of this map around, like, I think we just saw it in the sort of like 70%, 75% range. Like,
yep. Again, this is a practice map, right? You don't sight read this. Do not sight read this map. That is what I'm saying. Because while it's mostly flow aim, while it's mostly basic alt, there's still finger control. There's still some 1/6 in this map, and don't let it catch you off guard. Even players who are relatively slow can mostly mash through. There's not a lot of spacing on them, but if you're not expecting them, and especially that one at 70%, you're going to miss.
Oh god, yeah, no doubt. To see 8 people hit, or to see the whole both teams hit that would be absolutely nuts. Good luck.
Good luck. Good luck on that one. And that'll do it for the Hard Rock pool as well. We're done with all the Hard Rocks. We're 2/3 of the way through the pool now as we get into our first DT map of the quarterfinals weekend. This one's hard. This is the highest star rating that we've seen in the pool so far, and deservedly so. It is black or white top diff DT for the DT1. This is some pure speed, 278 BPM, AR 10.3, OD 9.8, only 1 minute and 17 seconds. That is the shortest map we have had in the tournament so far. Blink and you miss it. Taken to another level there. Only 77 seconds of drain time on this one. And this is, very fast, very streamy, very difficult. Not a lot of aim in this map whatsoever. This is almost entirely focused on the burst. And again, just to remind everyone, right? We do have, as I think, to remind everyone, the 1 slots are going to be harder than your 4 slots. This map way higher star rating than the other maps in the pool. The only one that's close so far is that Nomad 2 Tempest by Plum, and that is the kind of most basic mechanics 1/2 slot map that we've had so far. Yeah, the hidden one is mechanics, but it's all flow aim and it's really hidden on, so you've got to account for that added difficulty. This one is just pure mechanics, and with it being 10.3 280 BPM, you can really bump up the mechanics quite a lot on a map like this. And this is one that I think a lot of speed players will be very familiar with for this map. So I don't think a lot of players will need to practice this too much. If you are already a high-ranked speed player, you have probably played this map at some point in your OS career so far. Shout out to Spicy for the replay once again. Very solid play from him. One miss at the very end of the map. I think that's enough to win the map in most cases during the match because, yeah, that one's still pretty difficult.
Yeah, I love this map so much. I'm so happy to see this here. It's a beautiful little test. And yeah, impressive replay.
Yeah, Damarsh, are you excited about the next map? Because I'm excited about the next map. Miles and I cooked this one up, and this is probably one of the most well-known maps in the game. It's remote controlled by Garvin for DT2 in the quarterfinals.
What is it, 2015?
It is before 2015. We're on some 2014 pooling right now. This is the hype beast map in the pool, right? This is something that basically everybody knows. It's an exciting map to watch. It's something that people always want to see top players play. Stuff like the original remote control. I don't think the pool's quite hard enough for us to pull the Taiyang version, so we ran with this one instead. Hit the triples at the start, and then make sure you don't misaim the pattern aim later on in this map. This one as well is OD 10.4 after DT, so highest OD in the pool. So accuracy on those triples at the start, notoriously difficult for this map.
Yeah, and you can immediately feel, like, you can tell by playing this was mapped in 2012. It's got such a linear style to it, that it gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling.
It gives you a warm, fuzzy feeling. This is some hype beast. This is some old style mapping. This is some old pooling. This is one of the most popular maps in the game, and one that helped popularize the game back in its initial heyday back in 2013, 2014, 2015, when lots and lots of players were first starting to DT this map originally. So yeah, good luck to the players on what is the most classic map in this pool. I hope you enjoy playing this map, and I hope we can see some good scores on this, because this is the kind of map that you tune in, you see an FC on this, and it just brings a smile to your face seeing this one in the pool.
It's back. It's back.
All right, and as with the old, as with the new, I suppose for DT3, we have yet another custom map coming up for you with the DT3 slot, a little bit more manageable than the DT1, DT2, both of those in the high 7-star range. This one back down to the lower 7-star range, the 3v3 pick for DT here. High agar reading and control, the name of the game for this one. It is still somewhat fast at 233 BPM, but this custom by Nanoya and 228, also known as Sanch KK, going to be the reading and control focus pick in the DT pool this time around.
Yeah, again, like, this kind of thing, you can understand that, you know, wanting to get this custom map and things. It's not something you find a lot of in the game, especially at this, like, higher level of demand. But again, that just makes it all the more exciting that we can able to bring something that's custom like this. Like you said, a lot of control elements to this, the high approach rate reading. You know, it takes away that familiar element to players where they go, actually, okay, this is something I'm gonna have to practice and focus on ahead of the weekend, because I don't want to say that no one can sight read this, but I don't know why you would sight read this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of times you see this sort of like Toho finger control DT map, and you think, okay, AR8 DT, and I just have to be able to hit doubles and quads, and it'll be fine. But adding that AR 10.3, adding a couple of longer streams here and there, you know, some 9-note, some 11-note streams at this BPM, suddenly the stamina goes up a little bit. Suddenly the reading element goes up a little bit. Suddenly you're still tasked with this finger control on top of some overlapping notes, some 1-1 pauses between stuff, some jumps that double back on themselves, and you've got a much more difficult map to deal with on sight read than a lot of the times what you see when you look for, you know, this mid-range DT finger control sort of map. it is a little tricky to deal with this sort of thing on a sight read, and I think a lot of players will struggle with that, so definitely one to practice, especially as this is a 3v3 slot, right? You need 3 players from each team to be comfortable with this if you want to get a good team score on this one, so definitely one to keep in mind when you're dividing up the practice for the weekend. It's something you don't talk about a lot with these pools, but you don't need your entire team to practice every map, right? You just need the people who might go in for a 1 slot to practice that map, and then you probably want most of the team practicing your 3-4 slots. So making sure that you have maybe 5 or 6 people who can reasonably play this or who have practiced this and be ready for the weekend. Very important for a map like this where you never really know whether you're getting a double with quad, whether you're getting a longer stream, whether you're getting some of those shorter bursts. A lot of different things thrown at you in this pick. Thanks a bunch to Nanoya and Sanch KK for the map there. Thank you as well to Spicy for the replay on that one.
Yeah, and again, like you mentioned, having a 3 slot for this, I think those teams that have starting to reach their peak in terms of what they're able to do on a pool like this, you could definitely see that map reaching like the point where people go, we don't have a 3-man for this, shall we just get rid of it? Because it potentially could cause us some issues against those higher seeded teams.
Yeah. Well, that brings us to the last map in the DT pool, and ostensibly the easiest map in the DT pool here in the 4 slot. Going to be another non-custom and a relatively recent map as well, Infection by Yosei Teikoku, mapped by Neto. This one's some AR8 DT stamina, ranked 27 days ago, just very, very recently ranked. Name of the game for this one, 222 BPM AR8 DT stamina. A lot of longer bursts and short streams in this map as opposed to the finger control focus and reading focus that we saw in the previous one. Lots more 5-note streams and triples in this map as well. The BPM is lower, it is more accessible with that AR8, and so it is in the 4 slot. You do still have some finger control in this, as you can see, some quads, some doubles in this map, but mostly filling the role of kind of an entry-level speed pick in this pool. Most of the rest of the speed that we have here, Nomad 3 is 245 BPM. Okay, that's in a 3 slot and it's a tech map at the same time, so a little bit inaccessible. The Nomad 2 is 210 BPM death streams at 7.7 stars. That's not really accessible either. And then the rest of the speed maps have all been concentrated into this DT pool, and they're all more difficult than this. So this one, the most accessible speed map in the pool. And yeah, there's still some finger control. Yeah, there's some longer streams, but at 222 BPM, I think a lot of players are going to be a little more comfortable on this one, despite the added technical difficulty on this map.
Yeah, I think like you said, I think it's going to be mainly that stamina element that's kind of going to be playing into players, because this is, it's the longest DT map in the pool. 238 with in length. It's not, it's not 3 minutes or anything crazy like that. But I think, like you said, it being like a mid BPM kind of speed pick means that those players that really aren't able to do this for a long period of time, it's a risk putting them in. It's like, well, you can hit some of this, but especially like when you get to like the 60%, 70% mark range of this map, like there are some big streams in there.
Like this one, like the near 60-note stream we just saw.
Yeah. like, bro, it's like going that far on the map and then getting hit with that. It's gonna kill a lot of players' fingers. I'm telling you now.
Yeah. And this is still the lowest star rating speed map in the pool. It's only 7.17 stars. This is still the most accessible speed map in the pool. It's just a function of the target star rating of the pool, right? We're not in round of 16 anymore. This ain't Kansas, Dorothy. We're now in the quarterfinals. You need to have a better roster for these entry-level speed maps, because even though they're entry-level, they're still more difficult than in the previous round. And with this being 222 BPM, if you can't hit 60-plus notes of 220, you're going to start to really struggle on this near the end of the map. The accuracy is going to drop. You might start to chain miss if you completely run out of stamina on some of these streams. So good luck to the players on this one. Thank you again to Spicy for yet another replay in this pool. Very solid full combo for him on that DT4. And that does it for 4 out of the 5 mod pools. We're now done with the DT pool as well. That's going to be it for the speed maps in this pool. We've already got quite a lot of tapping here with the Nomad 2, Nomad 3, the DT pool as well. So 6 relatively tapping intensive maps, with the exception of remote control, really just having those triples. And now we move into some maps that are on the lower end of the BPM range and more on the gimmick side. It's Playing with Ruby, mapped by Morrison, the Fortissimo depth of Calicubes set for the 1v1 map in the Morgan, not Morrison, mapped by Morgan. This is the 1v1 map in the free mod pool. Gimmick, flow aim, and tapping finger control at 180 BPM. This is CS 2.8 and AR 9.6, so not even CS4 after Hard Rock. I think this map is about the same in terms of the difficulty on both Hidden and Hard Rock. The flow aim and aim control, as well as the perfect stacks, making this a lot more difficult on Hidden, and of course the higher accuracy component on Hard Rock, with this being OD 8.5. Players might struggle a lot more on that accuracy with the HR.
Yeah, and again, like you've got a song here that's focused a lot around like a piano piece, and you know, with that you've got a lot of mixed elements, and that is perfectly emphasized here with the control elements of this map. You know, you've really got a lot of those overlapping stacks. I think players, I quite like them, but I know that a lot of players in tournaments, this isn't their sort of thing. So coming up with a roster for this kind of thing is or can be a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah, I think this one, this was a tough slot, by the way, for us to pool. We originally had a tech map here, but it was so hidden favored and so 500k pilled that we ended up scrapping it within the last week for this map. I do think this map puts the pool a little bit heavy on the finger control as well. You've got maps in the hidden pool like Firing Effect. You've got the Hard Rock 1 for finger control. You've got some finger control on the Hard Rock 4. So a little bit heavy on the ult, a little bit heavy on the finger control for this pool in comparison to, for example, Slider Tech. But a lot of thought went into this pick, and we thought, okay, you know, we're not going to add more aim in this slot. We're not going to add any more speed or super heavy tapping in this slot. We wanted something that was a little gimmicky, and this one was something that was pretty well balanced in the poolers and playtesters' opinion between Hidden and Hard Rock, with that higher circle size and higher approach rate. And I think works pretty well for filling that role in the free mod pool, despite shifting the balance of the pool a little bit away from Slider Tech as we wanted. So teams that are really focused on Slider Tech, you know, you've got the Nomad 1, you've got the Hidden 2, the Hard Rock 4 as well has a little bit of that slider element in it, but that's going to be most of what you're working with in this pool. Before we get to the next map, there is a little bit of Slider Tech elements in the free mod 2, but definitely not the main focus of that pick. So I think that's something we're trying to keep in mind with these picks, but the format of this tournament presents a pretty unique balancing challenge, and especially when you're on 1v1s for free mod, it's somewhat tricky to get the exact skill set you desire while still keeping the slot balanced overall.
Yeah, and these KI times at the end are particularly nasty with its like back and forths and squares. That I'd be very surprised players that are holding a full combo here don't just have an awful day at the office and just go, you know what? Don't need to hold this combo anymore. That's it. That's all I've got. Because this last KI section is ridiculous, especially on when you had like the spacing of Hard Rock or something like that. It's just insane.
Well, good luck to the players on this one. Again, a relatively difficult map. This replay by Wowie still very good, actually. So good luck to the players finding solid scores on this map. I think this is going to present a pretty big challenge in difficulty. It's certainly one of the hardest one slots in the pool. I think this is pretty comparable in difficulty to stuff like the DT1, which is, you know, highest star rating in the pool so far. And with Hidden or Hard Rock, it just becomes that much more difficult. So good luck to the players on this one as we move into the next map in the pool. Going to be the free mod 2. I did talk about this having a little bit of slider element. It is Ordirev by Theriquidus. mapped by Scub Domino. This is your light tech aim map in the pool. It does have a tech section about 2/3 of the way through the pick as well. So keep that in mind when you're putting players in for this. This one, AR9, OD8, and CS4. You are, again, required to have one hidden and one hard rock on this map. So you are forced to play AR9 hidden on some light tech aim, and you're forced to play hard rock with that added finger control difficulty, the added star rating, and the higher approach rate on this map.
Yeah, I think, you know, especially once you start the map off, you get hit straight with one of those nasty aim sections, which, you know, on the hidden might not be too bad, but I know the hard rock players are going to have a rough time adjusting to this map. But as the map develops, you know, hard rock players, they'll set into a nice rhythm on this one, whereas I think the hidden players are not going to have as fun of a time. So it's got a nice balance in terms of both sides of the coin kind of getting tested on this one. In terms of difficulty, just maybe at different points in this map.
Coming up on that tech section that I mentioned earlier, that's probably where we see the break for Verterix here. Shoutouts to him for the replay. Shoutouts to the seal drawing at the start of the map also. Nicely drawn. Good drawing. And here we go into the tech section. Some actual slider tech coming through here. Lots of increased spacing on the streams. Lots of more difficult slider shapes and slider aim in this section as well. A couple of playtesters saw this section and balked a little at it, but I think compared to the normal aim in the rest of the map, that is about the same difficulty. The jump aim in that section a little bit easier and more of a focus on the slider aim and flow aim during that part.
Yeah, once you kind of get through that bit, it's got a nice little ending where you mix some elements together. You go back to the aim, but you also still got those sliders in there to kind of round out the light tech. Watch out for those triangles right towards the end. They've got some pretty big spacing on them, so some players might struggle to hit those right at the end of the map. But again, a lovely little map, and I love this song. I'm so glad to see it mapped in a unique way.
Yeah, this is a really old map as well. This is not a recent Scub Domino map whatsoever. I think this one, I used to play this in tournament back in like 2020. So this is 4-year-old map at this point. Last updated in 2022, so it hasn't even been updated in 2 years. So shout outs to Scub for an interesting version of this map that's relatively interesting pick for the free mod pool here. And with that, we go into the third free mod map in this pool, our third to last map overall. It's yet another custom map in the pool, this time from Risen. This is the anti-mod free mod pick, CS5 AR 8.3. It is Seraph by Satella, featuring, I can't read Japanese, the Serendipity difficulty. Let's take a look. It's the anti-mod pick. This is the second and promised low AR map in the free mod pool. Once again, a replay by Konkon Kanekon coming back for the free mod anti-mod map here. On the hidden and on the no mod, you're going to be seeing some relatively difficult reading with a lot of mechanics focused patterns, some awkward aims, some slider jumps as well, and a little bit of finger control. On the hard rock, all of that is just brought to even higher points of difficulty, but without the reading aspect of the map.
Yeah, I like this as well, because it's like, especially on the, if you're playing this with, I guess, hidden or hard, right? The spacing on some of these single jumps that kind of flow together kind of give me those like Kirby mix vibes, which, if anybody who knows about the really tricky Kirby mix maps knows exactly what I'm talking about in terms of how they feel trying to hit those flowing snap jumps. And it's really nice to see that kind of. They're not frequent throughout the map, but when they appear, it's nice. It's nice to see that kind of style still be around to some degree.
Yeah, this one I think is a little bit more accessible compared to some of the other anti-mod free mod picks we're going to have in the tournament at some point. Last weekend we did not have an anti-mod in the free mod pool. That was kind of the role of the free mod 1, though a lot of teams just ended up putting in a hidden player on that map. I think this one you're going to see a lot more variation to the mods. Some teams will prefer to overmod Hard Rock on this. Some teams will be completely fine just leaving in one hidden, one Hard Rock, and one no mod for this map. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the teams prefer to play this weekend, with it being a little bit more accessible than something like the CS6 AR9 Daramak map we had in free mod last weekend. And with that, we move on to the very last map in the normal mod pool. This time around, it is a non-custom map here, mapped by Calicube, Blue Forest by Toromaru. This is some more lower circle size alt in the 4v4 slot in the free mod pool, 150 BPM, CS 3.5, AR 9.6. So made to be accessible both with hidden and hard rock, and made to be still most of the time easiest on no mod for this map.
Yeah, again, it's a tiebreaker. You want to see so many elements tested on this. You're really looking at your like shining star all around players to come in for this, to try and
I'm gonna stop you there. We're not quite on the tiebreaker yet. You're skipping ahead a little bit.
I do apologize, sorry.
But I kind of agree. You're going to need good players for this one. Despite this being in a 4 slot, just like the Hard Rock 4, it is still kind of tricky. You've got some aim control on this. You've got a little bit of finger control. On Hidden, you've got the added difficulty of Hidden with flow aim. On Hard Rock, you've got the added difficulty of both the increased circle size and the increased OD for this map. And despite that, you're still maybe going to see some teams prefer Hidden, and some teams prefer Hard Rock on a map like this, just for that higher approach rate. Ending to this map definitely pretty difficult. You start to see the spacing increase. You see a little bit more finger control as well. Some more 1/6 bursts in this map. And as we come up on the very end here, that ending is very, very difficult. But that's the very last pattern in the map. And I think by that time, most of the scores on this should be decided. So make sure you're ready for the ending, but I think in most cases, the very last pattern of the map probably won't matter too much there.
Yeah, it's not going to make the most difference to the overall score, but it's nice to see players who are willing to give that one a go and actually just, try and hit the ending.
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody will.
I'm sure somebody will. And speaking of the ending, we're here at the end of the Mappool Showcase. It's time for the very last map in the pool, and time for the first custom tiebreaker of SSOT 2024. This one mapped by Kowari for the quarterfinals. Astra Walkthrough by Paraoka. This is the previously unbuffed version for the showcase. Just a disclaimer before we get into it that there is a buffed version that is going to be used in the actual quarterfinals. Specifically, the ending of the map was buffed to have higher slider velocity and higher spacing. What you see here in the intro and in the middle of the map should be unchanged. So after the slow section, at the end of the map is where those buffs occur, and that'll take this up from 7.7 stars to 7.9 stars for the tiebreaker in the quarterfinals round. This is a mostly mechanics-focused tiebreaker at 225 BPM with some elements of slider aim, some elements of finger control, some elements of your basic aim, but I think mostly you're looking for good mechanic players and consistent tournament players on this map to handle the variety of patterns with a heavier mechanics focus thrown at you in this tiebreaker.
Yeah, like I said earlier when I got the maps mixed up, again, you want your best all-rounders coming in for something like this. People who've got strong mechanics. You're really going to go through the whole range of motions to some degree on this map. And again, it's the tiebreaker. You want those consistent players to bring home those high combos. Because at this stage, you're desperately trying to earn that win. And you'll see, especially after the slow section, why the velocity increase is going to send this map into orbit.
We get into it. Big shout outs to Kawari for this map and for being able to apply the buffs as we asked to make this map a little bit more interesting near the end. I think a lot of players are going to start to struggle as you get into this middle section of the map. More slider aim, more bursts coming through in this part, and even a heavier focus on the mechanics with some of these 225 BPM streams as well. So big shout outs to Kawari. This was finished quite a while ago. We had a little trouble getting feedback for this pick as, well, it's a tiebreaker. It's relatively difficult. It's somewhat inaccessible to some players despite being a mechanics map. This was finished back in mid-January, a little over a month ago, and we just got those buffs applied this week. So shoutouts to Kawari for being available to do those buffs for us before the map released fully onto the sheet for players to practice. This one is already uploaded as well. And shout out to Kong Kong Kinikon for a FC replay on this tiebreaker, which is that's a very good score. This is still 7.7 stars before the buffs were applied to it. So great score from Kong Kong Kinikon. As yeah, again, more of the same in this map. I think there's not a ton to talk about in this. This isn't your kind of tech multi-skill, alt, speed, aim, everything tiebreaker. This is mostly mechanics, mostly aim, streams, and slider aim with a little bit of finger control in this map. But if you're good at those skill sets and you can play, you know, something 5 minutes and higher 7-star at that level, then you're going to be pretty comfortable on this map.
Yeah, and again, you know, Nerve's going to be absolutely running high on this one, so I definitely think that it's a feasible challenge for players. And to see some pop-ups on this would just be absolutely incredible. And yeah, just a great custom. Everyone should go and try this map because there's something in it for everyone, I think, for this one.
This is the last map in the pool. Again, we're in that slower section right now. Buffs should be coming through to the section right after this. You're going to see this transition from some relatively low star rating patterning to now some higher star rating stuff. Once again, with this slider aim, this is the part that really starts to get buffed and actually adds quite a bit to the star rating with those buffs. Make sure you're ready for that cut stream as well. I think that's the only cut stream in the map, and it hits right near the end. So if you're holding combo, be ready for this section with those extra cut streams, with that higher slider intensity. Very easy to miss aim here at the end and drop combo, especially if you're trying to follow the slider ends on all.
Yeah, those back and forths as well on the jumps. A lot kind of hits you here at the end, and we get more into those big sliders. Even that last pattern is just, the fact he hit that at the end is ridiculous.
Yeah.
A brilliant map.
Yeah, thank you a bunch to Kawari for that tiebreaker. Thank you to the whole map pooling team as well for pulling through on the quarterfinals. A lot of work went into this pool, both from the playtesters and from the custom mappers, as well as obviously the map poolers. Thank you to them for helping out with this pool also. That is going to do it for us here. We have a couple of other things to go over, like the bracket matchups for the quarterfinals, as well as, once again, before we get into that, some shout outs to our sponsors of Wacom and Drunk Deer. You can use code SSOT40 on the Wacom website for 40% off Intuos tablets, and code OSGO on the Drunk Deer website for 20% off any of their keyboards on their site, which is awesome. Drunk Deer keyboards are, can confirm they're good. I play with one. So thanks to them for sponsoring SSOT. Awesome that we have Wacom actually sponsoring an OS tournament like that. This company has It's been a long time since I've seen a Wacom partnership, so really cool to have that here. Don't know if we're gonna get a graphic on screen for the quarterfinals matches, but I'll go ahead and talk about them as well. Losers bracket matches, you're going to see True versus Jashin no Konrei. Oh, there we go. We're on the losers bracket here. True versus Jashin no Konrei. That is the 16 seed versus 8 seed. Jashin no Konrei being upset by the 9th seed Washingtowa 6-3. Stockfish versus Koyori's Nazgor. That is the 4th seed Stockfish being upset by the 13th seed in round of 16 versus the 12 seed Koyori's Nazgor. Gort versus Watson, the 15 seed versus 10 seed, and Wait We're Goated versus Bunny Battalion, the 14 versus 11 seed in the loser bracket for quarterfinals next week. We're going to be saying goodbye to 4 of those teams. And Demarsh, you want to take those winners bracket matchups for us?
Oh, I definitely can. So I'm Korean 2 coming off a 6-0 victory. We'll be going up against Washingtowa, the 9th seed, as you mentioned. A bit of an upset victory, but we also have Sweden Sweep incoming versus Empathas, 13th versus 5th seed. You've got Suntan versus Grease Monkey Deluxe. That'll be the 2nd and the 7th seed, as well as Chippy Chapa versus Optimus Prime Rib. That's seed 3 versus seed 6 for your winners bracket.
Optimus Prime Rib is a hell of a team name. I'm actually really looking forward to Chippy Chapa versus Optimus Prime Rib. I think that's going to be a really good match, and probably the closest losers bracket match. It is closest in seeding as well. So really looking forward to that one, and to some of the matches in losers bracket that are a little closer in seeding there. That'll do it for us here, though. Quarterfinals map pool should be on the spreadsheet shortly for everyone playing in the tournament to get practiced up and ready for their matches this weekend. Good luck to everyone playing in the tournament. Thank you all for watching the matches this weekend, as well as the quarterfinals map pool showcase. I've been Dio. He's been Demarsh. We've been SSOT, and we'll see you next weekend for the quarterfinals.